I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the hell that song is. It says Goron City Day, but it's like this like steel drummy version. I don't know. It's weird. But hi everybody. This is a weird one. Hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome in. Gibby, thank you so much. Hey, that works for me. Queen, everybody, hello. With the hydrates, I see you. Don't worry, I didn't forget. Today is a fun episode of TravTalks. Somebody I've known for quite a while, actually. Since the Tank Bro days, which seem like a million years ago, but are definitely not a million years ago. It's very it's very strange to think about. But in the same way that a lot has changed for me, a lot has also changed for our next our next guest here. Thank you so much. Hello, Trissy. Hello, everybody. Benmouth, thank you for the resub. It is 2 years, and actually, my subathon, I don't know what you want to call it, whatever it is, subathon thing, fucking whatever. That'll be in November. I'm getting off track. Hi, everybody. This is a fun episode. I have our guest ready to go, and it's a little bit different of a guest. You will see their face, but perhaps not a face that you're expecting. This is someone that I have a lot of respect for and have watched them kind of grow more into themselves. So I'm really excited to kind of see, what they have to say about these things. Please, as always, let me know if there are any sort of audio issues so we can fix them right away, as well as, of course, just letting me know kind of anything else that's going on. If things are all crazy, if things are all weird, just let me know. And as always, feel free to share as much or as little as you want in the chat. That is totally okay. And also feel free to not share in the chat, as that is totally your right. Voice in the sky, can you hear me?
I can.
There you are. We're gonna bring in our guest here. We have a Kincade MK. Give a big ol' welcome. Hello.
So yeah, a little different guest for you here.
Yeah, a little bit different. I think it's Kincade's sound is a bit low. Noted.
Oh.
Noted. We are maxed out on my end for Kincade.
Let me see if I can bump my mic up.
I can bump my stuff just a little bit more, but thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, how's that sound? I have to turn my monitor down.
Ooh, much better.
I sound incredibly loud in my own ears.
Well, I think you sound amazing. Please let me know, chat, if anything is better, worse, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But hello.
Hello. And I see some people that I know in the chat. I see Trissy and Gunmouth.
Some familiar faces. We love that.
Yeah.
So as always, for anybody in chat who does or does not know, I do pay attention to the chat, but I might kind of save some of the things for later, if that makes sense. Kincade, you are more than welcome to address as many of the things as you'd like. If you want to address every single thing.
Yeah, for the people in chat, I do have the chat up on my screen, so you can address me directly or whatever.
Okay.
And I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities.
Sounds great. But why don't you go ahead and start with like your own kind of personal little elevator speech? Like, who are you? What's your fucking deal?
Well, I am Kincade MK. I'm a variety streamer. I have kind of my focus, or I guess what I lean into most, is horror. So I say variety, but if I get a chance to play a cool new horror game, I'm all over that.
Okay.
That was kind of like the basis of the start of my channel. Seems to being a little overpowered by your.
Noted. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's see, it's been about 2 years almost as far as the streaming thing goes. Gunmouth can attest to that. I think he's one of my first subscribers, and I've known him for forever before that. But yeah, there's not much to tell other than I'm just like a big cat that plays games on the internet, and I try to have a little fun and take people along with me. And one of my biggest goals for streaming, I've always said, is if you're kind of having a bad day and you come into my stream and I can do just one little thing to make your day that little bit better, then I'm good. That's what I'm after.
We love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've known you for a good chunk of those, like, 2 years now.
Yes.
And a lot has changed since I've seen you last.
Very much so.
Or at least since the Tank Bro days, we'll say.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, and it's just oh, gone, dude. I'm glad of that. Aoife, hey, sweetheart. And that is Minnie Sharp Teeth. She's a fellow streamer and content creator. Wonderful, wonderful person.
We love that.
Proud to call a friend.
Welcome in, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, quite a bit has changed, because I started out back when I first started my channel. I was kind of like you. I had a face cam and everything, and with the pandemic, as with kind of a lot of people, because I mean, when you're kind of stuck home, just not able to leave, and you got nothing but your thoughts.
Yes.
You kind of start to realize things, and things click into place, and it's like, oh, so that kind of explains why I've always picked female characters in video games. Aww.
Things have changed quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. So please continue.
Love that. So, yes, meeting you, it was, I don't remember if it was a random raid or if it was, just kind of found you out of the blue. I don't exactly remember.
I think it was around the time that you guys first started, and
fairly early. Yes.
It was another Discord channel or server that I was in for another streamer, and you guys were posting in there like your go live messages.
Right.
And hey Ember, how you doing? I just was like, oh, these guys seem kind of cool. They seem like fun, goofy characters, and I've never seen like a 2-person stream before, so let's go check them out and say hi. And yeah.
And then we blew out your ears by screaming, and
yes.
I totally get that. Yeah. We were loud. And that part hasn't changed, but obviously
no, yeah.
The world of like my streaming adventure and your streaming adventure, a lot has changed. And I definitely know that VTubing, since like, I want to say about a year, maybe a little less, has exploded.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that goes into the fact of like, okay, I mean, obviously I'm trans, and you know, so with that comes a lot of dysphoria. And one of the things that can help is when I am streaming, okay, like I have it's kind of funny. I have what would technically be a 3-monitor setup.
Okay.
But for forever, like I've had this kind of set up for the longest time. I have my big screen.
Yes.
Like over here-ish. I'm trying to point and still have my leap motion capture my hand movements.
Of course.
But I have it over there-ish.
Okay.
And then I have another monitor here-ish, and then my main monitor.
Right.
I've always run a big long HDMI cable to my big screen because I've never been happy with cable.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, I'll just I got like Netflix and stuff that I find and YouTube,
Right.
and I can move it all over to that monitor, have it on there, and enjoy it on my big screen.
Of course.
So I use that for streaming as well. Like I have OBS on that right now.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's way off in the distance, but it kind of lines up with the side of this monitor.
Right.
It's really weird. I feel like such a nerd describing this because of like how I have it's jerry rigged and I'm looking at all these different monitors. But I have myself up on that.
Yep.
And then I have my I use 2 programs to do this.
Right.
And one is called VC Face, which
Okay.
handles the tracking and the lip sync and everything.
Mhm.
We know that your VTuber is up. Oh, thank you, Queen. That's so kind. I really appreciate that. But so I have that for just the basic tracking,
Right.
and I have another program called VTuber Plus for let me turn on my. You guys might see some of my UI.
Ah,
Yep, there we go.
So many.
So all this stuff, so I can do crap like this.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And this is stuff that my audience can interact with. Let's see if I get there's a sombrero.
There you go. There's a sombrero. You're looking good.
So I have myself,
Mhm.
as I guess prefer to be or would want to be, kind of in my line of sight all the time. And
Gotcha.
all that explanation goes into me saying that when I'm streaming,
Mm-hmm.
I lose myself in this.
Yeah.
And this is me. And it helps so much with the dysphoria and just kind of being confident on stream and
Yeah.
being the me I would like to be.
So
And
yeah, and something that I was going to ask about, and obviously as I told you before, you can share as much or as little as you'd like.
thank you, Swift.
But
I'll be right here.
Oh, there's Neil Breen. Hi,
There
Neil.
you
How
go.
you doing, buddy? That's my follow alert. Thank you for the follow, Queen.
I see
Queen
that.
Navidian is now following.
So many things happening right now.
Yeah.
But yes, so no, that's totally okay. The world of being trans and then being able to kind of
Mhm.
show yourself the way that you feel you are. And I'm it like there's like a feeling that I get. I'm like, that's so exciting.
Damn it, Lena. I saw that.
That's so exciting that you get to do that.
Yeah, no, it's and there she is. Hi,
Mhm.
Lena.
Mm-hmm.
That we discovered last night when I was testing this that even when I'm offline, yeah, they can still call in channel points and throw stuff at my head.
Yes, they
So
can.
you might see the odd object come hurtling its way at me while we're talking. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my my system sounds up so I'll actually hear it too. But yeah, no, kind of a big thing, and I know this is not exclusive to me in by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
But a big thing that really kind of pushed me into this, and then also kind of helped me realize what was going on with myself, was VR.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because what you're seeing right now, this hey Eric, how you doing? Excuse me, this avatar, this is my VR chat avatar. So like if I'm in VR, you see this.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, and previously I've had a couple different models, which I know you've kind of seen, and it's evolved into this.
I've seen the
latest one.
evolution. Yeah.
Yeah, This one is, for those interested, it is a model done by an avatar creator named Ghostly, who does many different anthropomorphic type avatars, and this is one of his latest ones, which is the Ghostly Feline.
Right.
And I mean, I've kind of been waiting for him to make a feline, because he has like a bunch of different species that he's made, and it's like, why not a cat? Why are there no lions? What the hell?
Right. And
But-
so something that I thought of too was where did the kind of cat world come from? Because obviously that's a part of your identity as well.
Mm-hmm. It's Volk. Hey, Volk, how you doing, hon? Really, like, I don't know. That one's kind of a hard one to answer, because I've been streaming for like 2 years or whatever. Oh, you didn't miss much, hon. We just got started. Thank you for being here. Like, I've been doing the whole streaming thing for 2-ish years, whatever. VTubering for not quite as long, because, you know, it took me sort of time to find that, or
Sure,
not to find it, but just realize, oh, this is what I would be happier doing this.
Right.
I'd feel better doing this. But I've been a part of the furry community since like 2000,
Okay.
if not like the late 90s, and feline, specifically lion, just always felt like me. Like that felt like something I kind of gravitated to. I've always loved cats. I've always you know, been into kitty cats, because I mean, who doesn't? They're nature's little assholes. And
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and that was just what I gravitated to. And then this design was just something that it kind of just came to me. I don't know. It's really hard to say. Like, asking someone like, oh, what made you pick a particular persona? You'll get all kinds of answers, because it's
Sure.
incredibly different for everyone.
Absolutely. I
And-
don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, and even down to like, oh, why are you a fox with blue hair, or why are you a rabbit with industrial piercings? And they're like, oh, it just felt right. I think that's a lot of what goes into it.
I think feeling is something that it can really kind of show you a little bit more of what you quite literally identify with. You're like, this is what I would like to be were I not a normal flesh bag, you know?
Yeah, like what you know, your mind can come up with so many different fantasies and like incarnations of yourself, and yeah, in the furry community, this is how we'd like to be in a perfect world where we could be whatever the hell. It would be something like this.
Yeah. And you get and being, you were already like a part of that community, which is, and I don't mean this, and obviously if I'm saying anything incorrectly, please let me know. Kind of along the side of like a fringe community. It's kind of on the outside of the mainstream.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I don't feel that's entirely accurate. I think yeah. Yeah, Aoife very well puts it. It feels right. But no, I believe that like the furry community is just as valid isn't quite the word I'm looking for, but prevalent as any other type of fandom. 'Cause that's when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, that's really all it is. It's just a fandom. It is people that are fans of these weird animal cartoon people.
Yeah.
And just identify with that. So like, as much as being a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan or being really into Twilight, You have furries.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It wasn't meant to be any sort of just like, oh, that's weird. But you do get a lot of people that I feel like end up kind of writing off that side of things. They go, it's just a bunch of fucking weirdos that just want to fuck each other in suits and stuff.
Yeah, like
and it's so much more than that.
Oh yeah, and mainstream media, as it so often does, has not really helped with that. I mean, I'm sure everyone who's of a certain age would remember the CSI episode about the furries.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was just such, excuse me, bullshit.
You're allowed to swear. I just did.
Oh, I figured. But yeah, no, that episode was such bullshit and so dumb, and it just completely. It's one of many things. There's other stuff too that has just been like really that's what you think we do. We just cut a hole in a suit made of carpet remnants and screw all weekend when we go to cons. It's like, okay, thanks, dude.
Apparently that's what people do. Like that is like the stereotype.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that comes from
screw dogs or whatever. That's always another one too that
right.
people love to throw in your face, and it's like, no. As a matter of fact, that particular thing, the community is actually vehemently against.
Yeah,
like there's been so many people that have been outed for that and just ostracized out of the fandom because they're like, no, you aren't welcome here because that's weird and wrong and whatever. But that's where I'll kind of end that, because that could go into a whole different discussion that's probably unnecessary.
Well, sure, yeah, and something that I feel like comes up, I feel like it comes up in kind of talking about VTubing and personas and just different personas in general is like, are you really being yourself? So like, I'm curious about your thoughts about that, because you said earlier, this is like the closest to me that I can get right now.
Yeah. And I think there's and again, it's one of those things that it varies from person to person.
Of course.
People, even with like anime VTuber type people, like little, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of it they saying it's a gimmick feels a little shitty to say, but some it's just like, oh, that's the niche I've found for myself and it's cool and whatever. But I think 9 times out of 10, the people that do it, like myself or Aoife, for example, it's very much genuine. Like, it's a very genuine thing of like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is who I want to be, who I see myself as. And I always tell people in my chat or in my streams that it's like, I'm not very different on stream as I am off.
Gotcha.
Off stream, I'm a little more laid back and reserved.
Sure.
I kind of step it up for entertainment value as far as being on stream, but for the most part, I'm just me. It's really all it is.
Yeah. And and like, that's obviously what I would want from any VTuber or people who have personas is like, no, that's just who you are. Yeah. Do you, or have you run into people who like come into chat and immediately are just like, ew, gross, or something awful like that?
I will say, and knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky in that regard, where I haven't gotten a ton of like really disgusting hatred towards furries or whatever, just because like, people like deliberately coming to my stream to crap on me. I could probably count the number of times that it's happened on one hand, and it's that's good. It's usually been like really weak. I think one time, and I can't remember what they said, but I think I do recall a time when somebody came in and was like, "Ooh, furry, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Is that the best you got?" and they didn't respond. Like I think they came in, said something stupid, immediately left, and it was like, wow, if that's the best you can do, I kind of feel bad for you. Bye.
Yeah, and I think actually I obviously much prefer you not getting randos coming in and being fucking rude. You know, I think that, and I feel like that's something, because it's such a specific thing that people are like, oh, this is the thing I'm gonna pick on. Like if someone came into your stream and they're like, you're a furry, you'd be like, yeah. And
yeah.
they're just like, you know, you're a furry, and it's like, huh?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, cool, good job, dude. Have fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's been like I said, I'm gonna say, because I know unfortunately this isn't everybody's experience, but I'm gonna say that I've just gotten really lucky.
Right.
Again, like even because like I have LGBTQ plus as one of my tags. I have trans as was one of my tags, and I know there's people that kind of look for that shit just so they can be horrible dickheads.
Yes.
I've gotten pretty lucky. As a matter of fact, I've had more people come into my stream because lately I've been trying to ask, like you know, because Twitch has that like first time chatter thing, which I actually love.
I love it too.
I love that.
Big fan.
Yeah, and so I've actually been more recently saying, "Oh, how'd you find the channel? Like, what brings you here? How'd you find my little corner of Twitch?" And I've had probably about half a dozen people say, "Oh, well, I was looking through the trans tags because I'm trans too." And it's like, "Oh, awesome!" I said, well, welcome on in. I try to make this a safe place to vibe and hang out and be yourself. So welcome on in. You know, sit back and enjoy.
I think
and
it's makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's really rewarding. It's really like reassuring and just cool. Just cool in general. So, and that's far outweighs any kind of like shitty comment or lonely, pathetic little troll being like, "You very gross." Ugh.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that is a thing that you have continued to, despite having these, we'll call it against you. I don't think it's against you, but it's very much like that kind of like, oh look, it's a furry trans VTuber. I can pick on that, you know.
Yeah, like a target on my back, basically, like little ear markers that might be like, aha, ammunition. It's like, yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah, and it's
nice try, but nah.
Yeah, it's kind of something that you have of yourself, like, no, these are me, yes, and I also feel good about it. I'm wondering, since like, because when I met you, you had your face cam, you had many other things. Have you done things to your physical appearance outside of your VTuber to kind of match that?
Very slowly, because I unfortunately live in a part of, now, you know, everybody, oh, New York State, they're real progressive. Yeah, parts of it, or the
Some
city.
Of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in kind of a armpity rednecky area. And so it's really hard to do that. But like one thing I have started doing is I've been getting laser hair removal treatment. You know, that's one thing. And I can't really enjoy it all the time, but for like I went to a convention in July, which was Anthrocon, and I got to dress more feminine.
Okay.
And that was kind of a coming out. I do have a set of falsies.
Okay.
But I found with those, like, I this feels so weird saying, but I feel kind of on the fence with that. Because I think what was bothering me, Kibby, How you doing? Yeah, Kimmy saw me. I got to meet her in person at AC. It was very cool. She's a sweetheart. Have you done HRT? Not yet, Volk. I want to, but that's part of the thing that I'm like a little afraid to start in on because of where I live, a couple other factors, and yeah. But like I was starting to say with the bust, I think it's either a thing of like I need to wear those more, and or I think it might have been a thing that in my head, basically I was getting a little dysphoria from it.
Yeah.
And I think in my head, and I've pondered this for a bit now. In my head, it's like, okay, I know these aren't real. These aren't a part of my actual body. I'm faking it. And unfortunately, and this is something that everyone has to understand if you're trans, and I've had a couple very cool people that I really respect say this phrase to me: dysphoria lies. Dysphoria lies to you.
That is literally the whole point.
Yeah, and you can't listen to it. And like I said, I think why it was triggering dysphoria is, like I said, it's like I know this isn't a natural part of my body. I have this fake thing on me, and it's making me dysphoric. So to, I guess, experiment or whatever word you want to use, I don't think I'm saying that accurately. The next con I'm trying to get to, I was just gonna not wear them. I was just gonna wear my feminine cut t-shirts. I got a cool jacket that I've been putting patches on. That's
nice.
A woman's jacket, and just dress how I want to dress. Maybe a little makeup, and see how that feels. Because it's a journey. It's a jog. It's not a sprint. And sometimes it's a walk. You know? Yeah.
No doubt. And just from my own experience working with people who are trans, for those who don't know in the chat, I am a child therapist. I work with children. And I work with a lot of kids trying to explore their kind of identity, what am I? Why do I feel good when I wear girls' clothes one day, and the next day it feels like I'm totally full of shit, and I'm, or I actually, I legitimately hate it, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a very common thing with dysphoria is it changes constantly. Some days you're going to be like, hell yeah, I am woman, hear me roar. And then the next day you're like, well, maybe more of like a mew. You know what I mean?
Very, very appropriate to your guest commentator here.
Did you like that? That was on purpose.
I did. That was very clever. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and I guess speaking of roaring or mewing, another thing that for me, I have horrible dysphoria when it comes to my voice. Like, I hate my voice. I absolutely hate it. Yeah. And I've tried the best that I can to work on it. I'm still working on it. I'm always working on it in stream. And I'm sure some of the people that come to my stream regularly, you can probably really tell a difference between when I start stream and when I end stream, because by the end of the stream, I am tired. No doubt. My voice sinks down more like this, which is my natural speaking voice. It's in my chest. It's very masculine. But when I start the stream, I try to stay up here, which is a little lighter. It's more in the back of my throat. I don't know if it sounds good or if it sounds bad. I have no clue. Now, I have a monitor.
Right.
I can hear myself right now.
Your in-ears.
Yeah. And that helps, but at the same time, it's really hard to tell with your own voice. Like, do I sound goofy? Am I succeeding? I've had some negative input, unfortunately.
Sure.
But I've also had some good. Like there you go. Kibby right now is just saying, "Oh, your voice is beautiful," and I appreciate that, and that helps. But yeah, that's one of my biggest sticking points with my dysphoria. But again, like you were saying with some of your kids that you work with, it's different from day to day, and it's different for everybody, and it's weird and it's different. But the funny part is, it's the same for, and I don't know the age range you work with, but it's same for like kids of the age that you're working with and a grown ass adult,
right,
like myself, which I'm not gonna out myself as far as my age, but there's certain people that know, and yeah, it's weird. It's weird how our brains work. It's so fucking strange, but
no doubt. And I think something that's important to keep in mind there, which you kind of touched on, was that it is very different and similar for people going through that kind of gender dysphoria, body dysmorphia or dysphoria as well, and like something that you touched on that I had a question about, which was about the voice, because in my mind, just like Funny Volk here said, is you're a woman no matter what your voice sounds like, right? And I think that's important to remember, and also important to kind of keep in mind that there can be that can be a sticking point, like you said.
And there's also some unfortunate bullshit within the trans community. There's like gatekeeping and that kind of shit. And if you're not on hormones, you're not really trans, or if you aren't doing vocal work, you're not really trans, or it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. And anybody that does that type of shit needs their little ass paddled, because it's like, come on, don't dump on someone else just because they're in a situation where they can't fully get into their transition, or maybe they're nervous. Like I have a bunch of friends that are really scared of surgery.
Yeah.
And really unsure about, like, well, I really want to have the appropriate plumbing, but I don't like doctors and I don't want to go under a knife.
No.
So that's hard too. But there's people that crap on people like that. It's like, no matter what your situation, no matter what you're doing, you're valid. That's the most important thing to remember. And anybody that says otherwise isn't your friend, and so fuck them.
Fuck them.
Exactly.
And I think, there's definitely something to be said for, like, what's hard for some people in the community is going to be much easier for others in the community, and vice versa. And everybody's journey is very different. Yeah. While the kind of, like, I guess the end result is kind of the same. Like, everyone's just trying to be in the right vehicle, like, in the right meat suit that makes you feel actually comfortable instead of just like gross and confused. Right. It's like you got the keys to the wrong car and you're like, I guess I can try
a blue one, not a red one.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I didn't all right, I guess I'll deal with it for now, but and it's definitely something that it has come on the forefront of the mental health world. Very much. Because I have, like I said, I'm working at a middle school, and there are kids who go by different pronouns every single day, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to the journey. So for you, like, how, obviously in the middle of COVID and we're just kind of stuck by ourselves and whatnot. What did you do to kind of help yourself out of those holes where you get really kind of thrown into and you're like, what do I do now?
Well, a big thing was streaming. Another big thing was VR chat, and just getting to know some different like-minded cool people, and just to kind of experiment a little bit and see myself. And it's weird. Again, I've done my like my prop making stuff too. I've kept up with that. That's a great distraction for when my brain doesn't want to leave me the hell alone.
Right.
I always tell people that, like, our brains hate us, and make us think the worst possible thing at the worst possible time.
That's certainly true sometimes.
I don't know, because they're little assholes that live in our skull.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just been kind of whatever I can, and like I said, a big help has been streaming, and then getting to go on VR. I had I got all choked up when he sent me this message, but I had a very good friend send me a message one night. Like, we were all hanging out on VR.
Okay.
And he left for the night because he had like school or class or whatever the next morning. He's like a music student. Sure. And I hear my Discord dude. I'm like, who the fuck is? And I always feel bad. I'm like, who the fuck is it? And I get mad. And then I was like, oh hey, it's so and so. And it's like, it's this weird knee jerk reaction. I'm like, who is dooting me at this hour?
What?
But it's totally
fuck?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally not serious. But it's just this weird reaction I always have.
Yeah.
And he left me like a big paragraph just talking about and I don't want to get too much into it because he sent me this privately, but he's just basically saying that he was grateful to everybody that he's met and gotten to hang out with, and it's helped him a lot. And he said how like the Index, which is the headset I have, it's the one they have, he's like, is the best $1,000 I ever spent in my life, and I don't regret it.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just so sweet. And like I said, I kind of like, I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it because it was just the sweetest thing. It was so kind and so nice, and it was nice to hear that. And it was nice to be nice to know that myself and others were having a good impact in his life and helping him cope. Yeah. And I always say that, and this applies to me, this applies to you. I know Aoife's in chat, all streamers everywhere. You never know, and will never know, the impact that you have on somebody's life. And you could very well be the thing that helps them get to that next day. Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Yeah, and that's I got one about a month ago or so. I got the Discord dude. And you're like, who the fuck? Yeah. What the fuck is this? Who's doing me?
Who's DMing on Discord these days?
Yeah, God, what the hell?
Go to Instagram like a normal person. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I got this message from somebody who like has sent maybe 2 messages in my chat ever. They were like, I've been watching you for the past year, and it just kind of brings me calm. It brings me calm. It makes me feel good, and I'm like I was like taken aback. I was like, what? Me screaming about dicks or whatever like helped? Like what? You know? And they were just like, yeah, it brings me calm because my life is this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, hey, listen, I'll take, that's very kind, and I'm glad that I can do that, even if like, you don't say anything, you don't say much, that's totally fine. Because that, like you just said, that impact can reach much farther than you would think. Like I don't have my, for instance, like I don't have my viewer account on, so I have no idea how many people are in here, and I like it that way just to remind myself like you are affecting however many people are here, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? I heard that. I heard the dude.
I think somebody did it because you probably heard it just now. Like, people can hear my other PC, like, because it's just an open speakers.
Right.
And so people will hear my Discord do it, and I started talking about it the one night, and somebody did it deliberately, like try to scare me. Because every so often my Discord will ding, it will doot at me while I'm playing a horror game, and it will make me. I'm like, oh god damn it, Discord, fuck off.
Yeah.
So somebody did it to try to like get me one night, and I was like, no, it didn't work because I was expecting it because I just talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But what are people we got in chat here?
Well, we got
Yeah,
quite a few
Volk,
things.
Yeah, let's.
You want to address a few?
Yeah. Let's keep up with our friends that are listening to us jibber jabber.
Totally. Yeah.
Here.
I've been putting it in chat here and there, just to let people know that I'm not ignoring chat by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, like, part of it is just like the talking back and forth piece, and of course, like, addressing the chat when you feel necessary. Great. We also have I usually do like a Q&A at the end where we can kind of dive into topics related or not, is usually how these have gone. But let's fucking mix it up, baby. It's variety streaming.
Why not? Hell yeah. I love freeform.
Freeform. So I'm gonna call people the names, and if any name needs to be different, just please let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp said it's about you. What works for you gives you your best life, and you can grow and shift or change it, or it cannot. Either way, that's what's important. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Kibby says my vehicle is very confused, having seriously bad PCOS. Yeah, it's confusing.
Hell yeah. You just gotta do the best you can.
Mm-hmm. And literally all we can do is the best that you can. All you can do is all you can do.
Oh, sweetheart, Volk, that's so kind.
And people have their own kind of different thing here. And something said, Sharp said, one reason I encourage people, like, if you enjoy a stream and if it improves your day, gives you a good time, tell the streamer if you feel comfortable doing so. And yes, please, is what I'll say to that.
Yeah, totally. Because there's a lot of times, like, especially when I first started streaming, where it was hard. It was hard to keep going because I didn't have anybody in my chat. If I did have, a handful of people, they weren't saying anything, which I very heavily rely off of using my chat as fuel for my own, like, shtick or conversation or whatever, because, like, and here's a great example. This is a good example. Last Friday, I've been doing, because I used to do it before, and again, this was, like I was saying, my stream was kind of built on doing horror. That's the foundation, because I'm just a big horror junkie. So I got back into, I hadn't done it for a while, but I got back into having Friday nights be specifically for horror. And I think it was Gunmouth that coined the phrase Friday Night Frights.
Yeah.
And so I've been using that. And so Fridays are my horror nights specifically. There might be a little more scattered throughout the week, but whatever. But specifically Friday is like the big, like, let's really get something spooky and
always
fucked up.
Yeah, always horror.
Whatever. So speaking of fucked up, last Friday I played Scorn. Yeah. And the stream wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I had plenty of people hanging out. That wasn't the issue. It was nothing wrong with the stream itself. It was me that I was dissatisfied at the end of that stream. I was dissatisfied with myself because I had such a hard time making any kind of content or discussion or whatever with this game. Like, it was such a slog because there's stuff you kind of can't talk about because it's really obviously skating on that line of TOS. And I was just like, oh my God, this game is like killing me.
Yeah.
And so I did my best to, like, talk to the people in chat, have that back and forth, and just kind of push myself through this game. And yeah, like I said, it's so helpful to have people in chat talking, commenting, whatever. So yes, if you are in someone's chat, please try to, like, I mean, I get if you're just lurking. That's fine. That's fine too. If you're just hanging out, if you're just watching, awesome.
Mhm.
But if you have something to say, by all means say it. Because it helps us out with like kind of keeping that momentum, keeping that drive. There's a lot of gratification that comes along with that too. You get that little drip feed of like, oh yeah, I'm doing a good job because people are actually talking and enjoying themselves along with you, which is big. That's a big part of it.
Sure. I've had a similar kind of thought, and what I've gotten used to at this point, because you and I both stream at night, right?
Yeah.
So people fall asleep. It's a normal thing, right? We called when I was talking with Eyes on B, we called them slurkers. You know, because that's what they're doing. They're there, but they're asleep, and that's totally okay. I'm like, and
yeah.
You know, you get used to kind of, you know, if people are there and they're talking, then wonderful. If they're not, they are definitely they can still be there and be giving you that same support. Because I had one experience. They came in, this first time chatter came in. I had apparently, because again, I keep my viewer count off, but I had apparently like 30 some odd people in my chat, but like not a ton of people talking. It was like 1 a.m. my time, which is like 3 a.m. on the East Coast and midnight on the way, you know? And so like someone was like, you have 30 people in here and no one's talking. And I was like, I mean, you know, it's late. There could be, you know, people are sleeping or doing other things, or maybe they're gaming at the same time and they're just like coming in and chatting once in a while. And then like, because they said that, like 10 people were all just like, you shut the fuck up. And like, you know? It's like, we're here. You get out. Like, we're here. We're just hanging out. Like, that's okay, you know? And I think it's important. And like Sharp was saying, I definitely, that direct feedback, like I love getting feedback.
Oh yeah.
Love getting feedback about just like, that's why I asked it, like, tell me, is it loud? Is it too loud? Am I too loud? Are you too quiet?
I was just about to say
things like that.
Love
that shit, because I can't tell. I'm not watching my stream at the same time, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I have, like I mentioned, my other PC. I have another PC that's like just a simple one meant for mostly just chatting and browsing the web. And I put my stream up on that just to see if like it's pixelating or being really weird or doing something funky. And so it's just to keep an eye on what I assume, and it's not 100% accurate, of course, but what I assume like my viewers are saying and or seeing.
Right.
So but yeah, like when people go, oh, the game's awful quiet, I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks for telling me. Like I had that problem when I was playing The Evil Within, because for some reason that game is so quiet, I almost had to max the volume out on it. And I normally never have to do that. Like 9 times out of 10, I just never touch my desktop volume. And then yeah, like what you were saying about people sleeping, Kibby made the comment that when she had COVID, I guess she just put me on and lay there and kind of have me in the background while I was she was recovering and taking naps and stuff. Which yeah, I'm down to hang out with you. I'm down to be that little voice whispering in your dreams. That little voice of madness.
Or screaming because the Discord thing goes on.
Yeah, like, God damn it, who's doing me? Usually it's screaming because somebody's like playing one of my jump scare things and freaking me out, because
sure,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, and definitely a little and I think that's something about the world of content creation that's so wonderful, is being, I don't know, I guess you can call it small. You can be more along the lines of like relatable and feel good and like, you know, interactive and those kinds of things. Because you look at people like, say, Jacksepticeye or Markiplier, people who have been doing it a very long time, but their streams have like, I think one of the Markiplier streams I looked at the other day with like 12,000 people in there.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah,
You know?
it's crazy. And it's like, how do you talk to anyone? You don't.
They don't.
Like he doesn't. Like I
No.
think every once in a while he'll catch the odd comment and maybe respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't talk to 12K people and be responsive. I actually got and it made me like, it was very touching. I don't know why. Like I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. I got this email from Twitch like 3 or 4 weeks ago that it was like actually here I'll pull it up. It was weird. I was like, where the hell did this come from? Why is this a thing? But it was like a survey, and I was like, who's taking a survey for my stream? This is odd. But
oh, are you talking about like the feedback thing where it was like your viewers love your blank?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your viewers have spoken. It says.
Yeah, I got the same one.
Yeah, your viewers volunteered to share what they love most about your channel. Their response was clear. They love your ... responsiveness. And it's
that's lovely.
Oh, that's cool. I was like, I don't know who was actually like doing that or clicked on what to make that like pop up in my email, but it's like, no, that's cool. I'm glad that that's a quality that you kind of don't know 100%. You're like, am I doing a good job? Am I doing a shit job? I don't know. So, but yeah, getting a little bit of feedback like that it was just neat. And it's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I wish Twitch did more of that.
Oh, well, like I know that there are people who specifically don't like getting that feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they think too much about it and they go, oh well, so and so said this, so I gotta like change that and do that. You know, it totally gets in their head. And
yeah,
and hear me, chat. Like that is a normal response to feedback because we are overthinkers by nature. And I've gotten like I got the same email, and I got a little like because I got the same thing, except mine said humor. They love your humor.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah.
And I was like,
they like me.
And I was like, I'm actually funny on my own, you know.
Yeah.
Which was nice because obviously, like, and you know this history of my thing is, I when I was streaming with Tank Bros, it was like, oh man, like everybody, like I had the thought constantly, and I think actually you called me out about it. And you were like, I think you and Gunmouth both called me out about it when you were like, quit fucking making fun of yourself and like hurting your own feelings.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm pretty sure I remember that because we were like, what the, and oh my god, speaking of, because I do use, and I probably shouldn't, but I use a lot of self-deprecating humor. And I'm not being like, I always say, oh, I'm a big dumb cat that streams on the internet.
Sure.
I'm not being, it's just a joke. But there's a certain someone in chat that I have to be careful around because she gets after me. She gets after me hardcore about like, what have I told you about that self-deprecating humor shit? We're not doing that. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's something that comes up a lot that I actually, with my kids or anybody really, I'm like, yeah, self-deprecating humor is fine once in a while.
Yeah,
you know, it's a way to be, you know, kind of relatable, as long as it's number one, not too mean.
Yeah.
Or too often, because too often will turn into bullying, and you'll just be bullying yourself.
Yeah, it's literally, why are you hitting yourself?
Basically, right? But you're actually hitting yourself just with words.
Yeah.
When I'm like, oh, I'm just, you know, just here I am, this fake fat Weird Al, you know, like that kind of joke, right? But now, like, after you and Gunmouth and other people have called me out, like, I have to really reel that in. And I tell the kids that I work with the same thing, and I'm like, you can't, like, the world and everybody else will bully you plenty.
Yeah, you don't need the help.
They don't need the help to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
They will try. They will try plenty on their own. Don't give that power back to your own head, I guess.
Yeah, like I know one that I'll pull every now and again, and it's kind of how I slush it off, is because I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
And so I've struggled my entire life learning how to read and spell and all that fun stuff that you actually need for, communication.
Right.
And like I've gotten to the point where my reading is fine. My reading's pretty much normal, except I read a little slow. That's why I struggle if like a movie has subtitles. I'll just be like, nah. Because I can't keep up with them. And my spelling is basically, well, thank God for spell checkers.
Yeah.
But I'll be reading chat and I'll misread something because my brain just goes, no, that's a completely different word that just kind of looks similar. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I think one time I thought someone was saying the word shark, and they were saying something else that had like sh or I can't. Oh, it was Shrek. Someone said something about sharks don't have bones, and I was like, Shrek doesn't have bones? What the hell? That just makes him all the more terrifying. What the hell?
What?
What's he made out of then? And they're like, no, sharks. I was like, oh, oops. And then I always make the joke. I was like, well, I've never learned how to read or write. You know?
Yeah.
But it is just a joke, and it's just to kind of diffuse my own like personal embarrassment with like fucking up like that. So
right.
But
I do think that there is a again, like there is times when like it's okay to do, and as long as you're also very aware, I am just messing around. It is just a joke. I am not hurting my own feelings. I don't feel bad about this. Versus like when I think you and Gunmouth called me out specifically, you were like, I think you're hurting your own feelings here.
Yeah, you're being a little too mean to yourself. And that's like I said with the reading thing. That's something I've dealt with my entire life. So trust me, I'm not hurting my own feelings with it. If anything, I'm just using it for fuel for a gag or something. I don't really care. Like I do that shit all the time. Like the only time that I get a little, and I've told people before, like when I'm legitimately pissed off about something, like one of the biggest things I have an issue with is words that sound the same but are spelled different, like great and great, for example.
Oh, okay.
I literally don't know the difference. Like you can put both words in front of me and I won't know which one's which.
Okay, fair enough.
You'd have to explain it. I get agitated when people like spell it for me or try to correct my spelling, and it's like, no, I don't know. Like I literally, like you doing that just makes me feel kind of crappy. It's not helping me. Just understand that like I don't know the difference. I really don't. It's impossible for me to know because I don't know which one's which. I don't know what the differences in spelling are, and usually they're minute, which is even more frustrating.
Of course, yes.
But yeah, for the like 99% of the time, it's usually just me joking and kind of like using humor about it to push off what little embarrassment I do actually have. So I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, no, I never learned how to read or write. I'm a cat. We don't know how to do that."
Yeah, it's actually a miracle. I have thumbs.
I know. These things are weird. Check them out.
Works out really well in most cases, but
yeah, I can open doors, but
but other cats can do that too, depending on the handle.
True, yeah, they're crafty, but I got an advantage. Two of them. Losers, thumbless losers.
Take that, wicked appendage.
Yeah, take that, evolution.
So something that came up when I was doing, because what I do for every person that I interview is I kind of do a deep dive on content a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of do a deep dive, which is also why doing more than like one of these a week is fucking impossible. Because I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. But something that I noticed that you end up talking about a lot is media. And the question kind of maybe half baked in my mind a little bit, but the question that I kind of came up a lot in my brain was like, what pieces of media have influenced the way that, you know, maybe you either interact with people or the way that you kind of create your online or even personal self? What were some of the pieces of media that did that for you?
Oh God, well, I mean, I am a massive movie nerd. So just you know, of course, I mean, horror's a given, but just any kind of movie. And I mean, I think I always worry that I'm like boring the living hell out of like not just my audience, but like when I'm hanging out with friends and I get on the subject, because I don't shut up. And I'm very opinionated about it.
Okay.
Like I believe yesterday I was calling Ridley Scott an incompetent hack. So, you know, like really don't like mince words when it comes to what I like. And you know what? Really, they're millionaires either way. So it's like, you know, just shut the hell up and take it, I suppose, because it's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're out of touch and you're an asshole. You made a horrible mess called Prometheus. Anyway.
Oh, that's not a great movie, but
no. But yeah, movies are a huge influence for me. Animation is something that I love. Just popular culture too. Like if you go to we saw it earlier, and here I'll just do it for giggles. But
I'll be right.
This guy here.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. This gentleman. He's a lunatic.
Queen Navidian is now following.
He's a crazy man.
I have no idea who that is.
That is writer, director, producer, star of 6 full-length, feature-length motion pictures.
Okay.
Neil Breen. He's a crazy man who makes movies somehow. And he's just this little niche part of pop culture because of people like Red Letter Media, who love his horrible movies. They love to torture themselves by watching them and talking about them on their YouTube channel. Again, and somebody tagged me on it on Twitter. It was hilarious. They're like, "Oh, Kincade, does this look familiar?" And it was the scene from Kung Pao Enter the Fist or whatever it's called,
right?
Where he asks for the like I'd like a pound of nuts. It's a lot of nuts. That's my bit alert that goes off.
Okay, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's just movies, pop culture, animation. I grew up in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid, and we had cool stuff like the animated Hobbit, the real Ghostbusters, all this other stuff. That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like media as far as that goes is huge. I mean, I think every single one of us that streams video games are like a huge part of our lives. I mean, obviously.
Yes, of course.
But more so in the fact that it's something deeply ingrained in each and every one of us, because that's what we grew up with.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
We cut our teeth on Super Mario Brothers, and moved up to Doom and Wolfenstein and whatever the heck else, and Zelda and all this other stuff. And now iterations of that. Oh, Volk. Yeah, 2000s. You did cool stuff too, so don't you worry about that.
True.
But yeah, no, it's just like I said, it's the games that we play and the movies that inspire us and the shows that kind of sparked our imagination. I would love to say books, but again, going into the whole growing up unable to read, like I didn't learn to read until the 7th grade, I think, because of the dyslexia. So yeah, I'd love to be one of those people that say, oh, I read like 15 books a month. And, you know, I watch Reading Rainbow. LeVar Burton's pretty cool. He taught me the joy of books, even though I couldn't read them. But yeah, no, those are like big influences for me. Or just is motion pictures of every variety. And then yeah, like anime. Like I mean, I think this is a part of, and for a lot of people, is part of that whole why we're furries, because we grew up watching Bugs Bunny and Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood, and we're like
a classic.
It's like this has awoken something in me.
Yes, I was gonna say a classic furry awakening was Robin Hood.
Yep. And now people have Zootopia and the bad guys and stuff, so it just keeps going. That wheel keeps turning.
Yeah, and Sing.
Yep, Sing's great too. That's another one that's like a big, I guess, going into the part of your question for like what inspires me or whatever is I'm a theater major. So
that checks out.
Yeah, it was really disheartening because my degree didn't do jack shit for me. So that was unfortunate. And then X amount of years later, here we are, and I'm like, I think someone had to tell me, like mine was Thundercats too, Kibby, hell yeah. But somebody had to actually tell me, because I was again talking about my degree in theater, and I'm like, yeah, I never used it. That was X amount of thousands of dollars wasted. And they're like, you stream, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you're using your degree now. You're using what you learned from doing that to perform on your stream. Yeah, it's not, you're not on a stage. You're not on a stage somewhere singing Once Nearly Was Mine, but yeah, no, you're using your degree. It might not be how you ever thought you would, but yeah. And I was like, yeah, huh, yeah, you're kind of right. And that's one of the reasons, like, I put in the Sing for Your Supper redeem,
yeah,
which is my like, if you have enough points, which is pricey, but there's a reason for that. I'll sing a song on stream.
Got you. And Gibby just said exactly kind of what I was gonna say about streaming in general, or I guess content creation as a whole, is like you're just setting up a stage exactly where you are.
Yeah.
Whether it be virtual, whether it be, you know, any kind of thing, because like on TikTok, right? Like I'm setting up my stage wherever I decide, all right, this is a funny joke and I'm gonna film it, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then like the streaming thing, like we do it on purpose, whether we realize it or not. Like my camera is set up on this side because I feel like that's my better side.
Yeah.
And you know, I have
hotkeys for that.
I can make right, and I think that's something as a VTuber you can kind of change that however you want, right? Like your VTuber is specifically cut off at like your midriff. But like I film myself from about nipple height. You know?
You can also, like, if it would do it, hang on. Oop.
Just see, you can change your clothes.
Yeah. Or like for example, something really awesome, and I believe Trissy's in the chat.
Mhm.
She is the person that did the textures on this particular model.
Got you.
And for I did a subathon marathon stream that ended up being like 31 hours.
Nice.
Where I played both Resident Evil 2 and 3 in chronological order. So like I switched between games. I bounced back and forth between the two games
Oh, cool. Yeah.
to make the story kind of match up. It's a run that a friend of mine kind of came up with called the Resident Evil 72 run, because it's the 72 hours of the actual Raccoon City event.
Right.
So when I was switching between games, Trissy went ahead and made me stuff like this. Check it out. I'm Leon Kennedy.
I like that. Yeah, the hair and everything.
Yep.
Does that mean you're excited for the 4 remake?
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Yeah. That was the game that to me kind of reinvigorated the series.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, because it, like, the first one was, everybody loves the first one. Who doesn't? I mean, I have very fond memories of that.
Mm-hmm.
2 was even better. I played the living hell out of that game. I think even when I was a kid, like, I was kind of speed running it without even realizing it, because I would try to beat it as fast as possible. And then with 3, it kind of petered off a little bit, and people were sort of disappointed with 3. And then we didn't really have a new Resident Evil game for quite a while. And then 4 happened, and everybody went nuts.
I had 4 for my GameCube.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And it was such a good game. I remember spending hours. Like, and did you do the same thing? I spent hours like organizing my case.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had this compulsion just to make it as neat and organized as I possibly could. And if they don't have that damn case like that in 4, in the remake, I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah, I think there's like something that I realize that each series has like its ups and downs, but I definitely remember 4 being massive.
Yeah, no, 4 blew up. Said Cat Dance Kid. No. I don't even know if I can do that. There you go.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I don't know. I don't know memes. I don't speak the language of memes like these kids today.
Your age is showing.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'll cop to that. I'll admit it.
Working with kids has helped me keep up, actually. There's every so often I'll like in between a session I might have to run to Urban Dictionary, but every so often it's like yeah that
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard left on red.
Yeah, no, I remember that too, and I was like, left on red, huh?
Yeah, because my brain said the color.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they left me on red, and I'm like, okay, so like, I know on Snapchat, like the little bubble is red if it's a picture, but like, how do you? But like, chats aren't red; they're blue or green depending on if you have an iPhone or something. But like, what could that possibly mean? But being left on red is just if someone sees your message and it says red, but they don't respond to it, it means being left on red.
Yeah.
And I did not know that when I first heard it, and I remember going like Googling left on red. just like you spelled it, Kibby, which was and everything that was popping up was not correct. So I was like, that is what?
Yeah, that's like the first time I heard somebody say bet. Oh, bet. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Or dead ass. Dead ass was another one that I was like, dead ass. Oh, I'm pretty sure I get where you're going with that, but why is that? Why is that? Yeah, Gucci. No, we're Gucci. That one. I believe I've heard that one for many years now. But like, yeah, I remember. Again, this is really showing my age. But I remember when people first kind of started using the term selfie. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would you say that?
Right.
Why would you use that as like an actual word to describe taking a picture of yourself? I took a picture of myself. I took a selfie.
It checks out to me.
Yeah, God, what a fucking weird world we live in.
All right, last one for you for the new age terms. What about cap? CAP, cap.
Yeah, nothing. That's a new one to me. I'm learning today. Yay. Yeah, there you go, Kibby. What the fuck is cap?
I'm still young. I've still got it. No cap. Cap means lying. Cap means lying. So if you say he's capping, that means he is lying. If you say no cap, it means you are not lying or you are serious.
But like, how? Like, I don't. What the fuck?
That's just language.
If someone would say, "Oh, he's capping," I'd be like, "Oh shit! Everybody, get on the point! Hurry!"
See, that's a gamer term.
Yeah, that's why I'm intensely confused.
Nope. And just to show you that I'm not lying to you about this, no cap. No cap.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie to you about these things. No cap. It's wild, and I think language evolving is something that's so, I think, important, and also can definitely leave people out.
Yeah, like I might be whinging about it a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, okay, no, that's cool, and that's up to me, I guess, to fucking catch up or be like, the old person in the room, and be like, what the hell's that mean? What?
Yeah, and that's why I think, I mean, language evolving also leads to, like, there's obviously silly things like you know, cap and clapbacks and all those types of things, right?
Yeah.
Like those are obviously language that evolves in kind of a silly way, in kind of like a almost like an Ebonics sort of way to some people.
Yeah.
But there's also
Esperanto.
Like the evolution of language leading to things like people knowing what the word of, like, if you go up to a 90-year-old now and you're like, this is my persona, you know, they're gonna be like, what the hell is that? That's my old person voice, by the way.
Yeah.
Either it's an old lady or a old man. But either way, it's that's the evolution of language has been like, oh, no, persona makes sense because it is your persona, but a furry. Combine the two, bam.
Yep. And it's I know another one that like people use a lot is OC, as far as that goes.
Original content?
Original character.
Or original character, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yep, OC is a big one. I believe oh no, it's Milky. They caught me. They caught me being a furry. Whatever will I do? As my parents say, a Furby.
Oh. I'll accept it.
Yeah. Milky is a very, very good friend of mine. One of the many people that like has kind of helped and supported me and been very, very, very cool and amazing. So.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you for the follow.
Yeah. Good to see you, Milky. But no, it's crazy. Like that's what I was gonna say. it's interesting because I've noticed I've noticed like kind of a dichotomy between people saying fursona and then saying OC. Like, this is my fursona, but I do have like, over the years I've gotten like a couple random characters that aren't me, but they're ones that I've created.
Right.
For various purposes. And I've noticed that like throughout the fandom it's become a little more prevalent that people kind of use that as a distinction.
There's a distinction.
Yeah, like your fursona is literally your furry self or your anthro self.
Right.
I still prefer the word anthro to furry, but it's a little old school at this point. And then OC will be like, oh, well, I'm writing a story with these different OCs in it and my fursona. So it's like, oh, okay, that's a neat distinction. That, like I said, this is just something I've kind of noticed being in the fandom for as long as I have, and the way people are making their own distinctions throughout, like the culture of the furry community.
Right.
As one might say, which
I think the language stuff is so important to help distinguish certain things as well. Because if someone came in like Milky did here, right, and genuinely meant like, what the hell is on your screen, is that a Furby or whatever, right? Now we have language to explain, no, that's not quite it, here, let me explain it to you. Versus like what people probably used to say about the anthro or furry community, about the just like, oh, it's just a bunch of weirdos in dresses and helmets and
silly costumes. Are you like a basketball game mascot? Which that's what they used to use that term.
Yeah,
like this is going way back before I was even in the community myself, but it kind of held on long enough that I heard it a couple times. But they weren't called fursuits. No, they were mascots. They're like, oh, you got your mascot suit or your mascot costume or whatever. And I'm like, because that's where you'd see that, would be at a freaking basketball game, like the Fighting Tigers, and there'd be a guy in a tiger suit running around, or like the Philly Fanatic. That's the one that's always fucking with people at games. Yes, is the Philly Fanatic is a gremlin.
He's something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what you call it, but
yeah, the one hockey mascot that's always like fucking with people too. It's like red with a big blonde beard.
Yes, Grizzy,
yeah.
I got into a small Twitter spat with Grizzy once.
Really? What?
Yep. Because on this one thing, we it was for the charity thing, we did all the hockey mascots on a tier list, and how some of them make sense, but there's also like certain ones that don't make any sense, like the Colorado Avalanche, for instance. Their mascot is a Saint Bernard.
Oh.
And so you're like, oh, I kind of have to think about it, but I get it.
Yeah, I get that too. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, because Saint Bernards are what rescues you when you're covered in...
When you're buried in snow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 18 feet of snow.
All right, I get it, right. Okay. But then you think about, the Flyers, and you get Grizzy, and it's like, what?
Yeah, what even is it?
What the fuck am I looking at?
Is this like one of the Sesame Street Muppets, like grown up? Is that what happens to them when they age out of the Sesame Street? They have to like go get jobs as mascots. That's what he looks like. He looks like a Jim Henson monster.
He kind of is.
Yeah,
he kind of is. But Grizzy's TikTok game strong. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, no, I saw it like during the pandemic. There was a lot of that going on, which because everyone was bored, especially people that like their entire livelihood depends on like an enormous stadium full of people to harass. Yep. So he was just like at home throwing knives at the wall or whatever the hell he was doing.
But TikTok game strong for sure. For Grizzy specifically.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been going about an hour and a half. Take a quick break so I can use the restroom and stuff like that, and we'll come back. I got other questions about a little more mental health related, if that's okay.
Yeah, and I also saw like Volk asked a couple different questions in chat about like stuff to do with like a lot of the transphobia. I kind of mentally filed that one away, transphobia, and then like popular furries, which I don't have a ton to say on that, but I can pull something out of my ass. I usually do. It's the whole game of streaming.
I mean, that's what I'm doing right now.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, break would be cool.
Yeah, I'm also using you for clout, so just keep that in mind.
I know. Yeah, you're trying to break into that furry demographic by having like one of the premier furry celebrities on your channel. I guess it's cool. Cool. I'm down.
Yeah. You caught me.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
You got me.
What the hell? Speaking of pulling things out of your ass, that was some great improv, actually. All right, hun.
But we will definitely be back. For anybody who has any sorts of questions like that, like I just put in the chat, we will do like a Q&A at the end. And the questions don't have to be related to anything that we talked about, of course. You can just be like, hey, Kin, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Yeah, how do you get so much volume in your hair? You know,
are you asking me?
I mean, it applies to you as well. I mean, you got those luscious locks.
I can answer that right now. Judaism.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody, we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll see you very shortly. Kin, I'm gonna mute you, and then I'll just bring you right back in. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, I'll see you all in a minute. Bye, everybody. All right.
Hello.
Let's bring this on back. Bam. Jam. Hello.
All right.
Everybody can hear Kincade over here.
Yes.
I can hear
Can
you.
hear the sound of my voice?
I can. One of your arms
Wonderful.
disappeared for a second, but
I know, that was kind of crazy. that stuff happens. It was wacky.
those wacky times.
Yeah, it was wacky arms, just doing stuff all on their own. Well, this is the evil, corrupted one, so who knows what it's up to. I was trying to make a point the other day, and it kept doing this. And I was like, I know you're the evil one, but stop it! Stop flipping off my audience.
Not okay. Okay, thank you for your patience, everybody.
Yeah.
So, one of the questions that I was going to ask about was around the time of the vid. And I know it's still going on, so be careful out there. But were the feelings of, maybe I'm not driving the right car, or however you want to put it, was that something that was happening pre-COVID? Or did it kind of like really come to a head? Like, yeah,
it mostly came to a head like during the pandemic and getting into VR and being like, oh, I really like this. This is cool.
Yeah.
This feels I feel right, Brian. I feel right.
Good Family Guy reference.
Yes. But yeah, and it's like I said I made the crack earlier about like, no wonder I've always liked playing female video game characters.
Sure, yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's like, boy, if I would have known then what I know now, it makes so much sense, and it's kind of like, oh, huh. And that is something I personally lament a little bit, not a lot, because and I'm gonna call him out by name, but one of the people that I've met on VR who is just really cool. Like, they're just a really fucking cool individual. Their name is Mama B.
Okay.
And if you have VR chat and you've not met Mama B yet, you need to. She's so cool. Just a cool person. And I remember having a conversation with her and talking about transitioning, and she said, like, you're never too old. Because that's what I was going to say, is that I slightly lament not being able to do this sooner, or not realizing sooner, or whatever.
Right.
But she once said to me, she's like, and I wish I could remember the context of the conversation a little bit better, but she was like, that was her comment based on what we were talking about, was she's like, yeah, you're never too old. She goes, so don't let that bother you ever. And I was like, well, how old do you think I am? And she's like, I don't know. She almost sounds like a New Yorker. She's like, I don't know, like 25, something like that. And I'm like, I love you.
Wow.
I knew I liked you for some reason. I knew I really liked you.
Yeah.
But then I told her how old I actually am, and she's like, what? No way. And I'm like, yeah, B. And she's like, huh, I never would have guessed. I was like, yes.
Score.
Yes, I've aged nicely. But
No
yeah, no, it was a big thing of like, yeah, no, like this kind of feels right. And I've always, and that's another thing with the furry community. You kind of get to explore that type of thing through artwork. And,
sure.
And
yeah.
I've always, I always, I guess there is more to like pre-COVID. Like, I always saw myself as gender fluid.
Okay.
And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, no, I kind of like being as female as possible.
Right.
Now, granted, my ultimate goal, and I hope I can say this in a way that makes sense, is I would want to be intersexed, because my dysphoria or whatever term you want to use is not derived from what I already have.
Mm-hmm.
It's from what's missing.
Now
If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. It's not entirely the wrong parts. There's parts missing.
Yeah. Like what
Okay.
what makes a female is what I would want to have in addition to what I already have.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I'm not like below the waist doesn't really bother me a whole lot.
Right.
And so
Now that's interesting because that's not something that you generally hear it in the very binary terms of I want one or the other to kind of to match what I feel like I am, or some people who are like, oh no, I go by she her, but I'm cool with the part, you know?
Yeah. And I do have friends that are like, oh yeah, no, I don't really want the surgery, but I am female. Again, some of it has to do with like being nervous or apprehensive about the mechanical processes of changing that.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, it's way different.
And it's like kind of terrifying. Like it kind of spooks me a little bit too. So I get that. And also too, they're just like, oh no, it doesn't bother me, but I am female.
Right.
And that's just whatever. I don't really fucking care. And it's like, oh, cool. And all of it, see, that's the thing. And this touches on what we were saying earlier. All of this is valid.
Yes.
The way I feel is valid. What I want for my body, for myself, is valid. It doesn't make me any less trans. People who go through the full-blown procedure of getting stuff altered and changed around and complete sexual reassignment surgery, that's valid too. People who are just like, oh, I just do the hormones and that works for me, and boom, I'm good. All of it is.
Yeah.
Anybody, and like I said, anybody who says otherwise is like a gatekeeping ass, and they need to like kind of reevaluate their stance on things.
I do think that's interesting that there is, even within that community, there's you're not trans enough.
Yes, it's disgusting. And again, I'll just I feel like I'm name dropping, but I know I'm not. I'm just elucidating on. I have a very good friend whose name is Stripe. Stripe is she is a trans woman.
Okay.
She came out here I don't know how many years ago. Amazing person. Big sweetheart. She was the one who I went to with questions. Because I've known them for maybe 10 years or so. Probably closer to 15 at this point.
Lovely.
And so I knew them before they came out, before they transitioned, before they even realized themselves what was going on in their head, kind of.
Yeah.
So I knew that they were someone that I could trust, that I could go to with questions. Maybe if I came off as a little insensitive or ignorant, they wouldn't hold it against me. They wouldn't, oh, you're just a transphobe asshole, bleh, whatever. They would be like, oh, well, hey, this, and this, and blah. And I was like, okay, awesome. And she was the one that helped me better understand just being trans at all. Because up until that point, I really hate saying this, but up until that point, the only interactions I had with anyone who was trans were incredibly negative. I'm not going to go into details, but they were very negative and made me very nervous.
Yeah.
But I knew Stripe was someone who I could talk to.
Right.
You're awesome too, though, hon, who just Discord messaged me. or oh, that's weird. Is she here? Is she listening? I don't know. I getting a Discord message from someone who's like, "Are you talking about me?" I keep sneezing. I was like, "Oh, are you in chat listening?"
Maybe.
Another wonderful person named Kit. Kit, if you're listening, I love you. You're a sweetheart. But no, I knew if I talked to Stripe, she'd be cool, and I could say, you know what is it to be trans? What is it to be, what like talk, tell me about this. I want to understand. I don't. I feel that's the biggest problem when it comes to racism, homophobia, transphobia, is people just aren't willing to sit and understand and just be like, tell me about you. Tell me, why do you like this? Why do you not want to have a penis anymore? Whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Like tell me about that, because I want to understand. I want to get it. And that's basically what I went to her with, was like, hey, tell me about this. I want to know.
Right.
And I even told her like some of my negative experiences, and they're like, wow, that's shitty.
Yeah.
That is not right. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was, but I know that's not every trans person.
Right.
And when I came out, I of course went knocking on her door. I was like, hey, Stripe, can I talk to you, hon? And she's like, yeah, what's up, honey? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, this, and this. And she's like, huh, have you ever just stopped and maybe considered that, yeah, that you are trans? And I was like, I am now, and that's why I'm talking to you. And she's like,
yeah,
cool, well, let's talk about it. And I was like, all right. And I've gone to her for tons of advice on that stuff, because again, she is someone who I have consistently been able to go to with any kind of question and trust that I'm going to get an answer that doesn't end in me getting yelled at, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, I know it's like, even if I say something dumb, and I certainly am not gonna say anything malicious deliberately, or that could be construed as such deliberately. So, but as people, we fuck up sometimes, and
absolutely,
communication is an incredibly I'm doing it right now. I can't think of the words to use to properly describe my thought. It's inefficient. Like until we all become balls of energy that are one with the singularity and can just thought transfer exactly what we mean all the time. Sure. We're gonna have to use our, meat flaps to try to make words and say what we're thinking in a somewhat understandable way. And that's hit or miss sometimes.
I do think at the moment, it just being our electric chemicals that literally is all of us, it's literally electricity just running around up there trying to figure out what to make our body do.
Yeah, it's like, how do I drive this meat mech? It's so confusing. There's too many buttons. Fuck.
A lot of buttons, and some get missed and some get pushed way too many times, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So you actually, it sounds like you have somebody who was very, very much there for you, and very and very open and willing to talk about the things that they have done.
Yeah. And since then, she's thankfully not been the only person that I've gotten to know who is very wonderful, very understanding. There's Kit right now, because again, her ears were burning, and she's another one who I've asked questions to, who's been supportive and kind, and I've been very lucky.
Yes,
because not everyone has that. But yeah, no, I've been lucky enough to have like some cool people that could help guide me. I mean, I remember. Don't believe her. Yeah, Kit's a big meanie pants and smelly and a doo-doo head. Anyway, but I remember having a conversation with Stripe about how do you measure for a bra.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. And she's like, oh, you just do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot easier than I thought it was. But no, all right, thank you.
Right.
But no, it's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Well,
but-
you mentioned that you were very lucky, and having somebody who was willing to kind of take you under the proverbial wing and kind of walk you along and be like, hey, this is kind of what I dealt with, and it may be similar or different or whatever, and we can talk about that kind of thing. And I think that's amazing. And but I'm thinking also, not that I'm outing your age or anything, but I'm outing your age a little bit. There was no way that was a thing when you were younger.
Oh God, no. No, I had no clue. I just knew I liked G.I. Joes, and that was about it.
Right.
I didn't know shit.
Absolutely, right?
Like I said, this is something that like this is still very new to me, and I'm still very much figuring it out. Any more than like I was saying about when I go to the next con, I'm going to do a couple different things to see how that makes me feel.
Right. Because
the last time it was like, I feel kind of weird. Okay, this isn't really working. But and again, that doesn't make me any less of like oh, maybe I'm not trans. No, I'm pretty damn sure that's what's going on.
I think I got that one down.
What's that?
You're like, I think I got that one down.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that figured out. Like, okay, I love to say like I'm still not 100% sure, and I don't think I've ever really talked about this on stream. I talk about a lot of bullshit, so it's hard to keep track. But like, if you were to ask me what my sexuality is, I'm not 100% sure. I think I have a pretty good dangle on the angle, or a handle on it.
Yeah.
But I'm still not 100% sure. And it could, like you were saying about how some of the kids you work with, one day they're like, oh, I want she, her. And then the next day they're like, yeah, they, them sounds pretty cool to me. It kind of fluctuates. But as far as like my gender identity goes, yeah, that I feel very, very confident in. Like what I was telling you earlier, as far as like, yeah, no, I want to have this. I would like to be that. I'm trans. So it's weird. It's such a weird thing to understand, and you can be figuring it out for the rest of your life, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think something about and they mentioned it quickly in the chat of education and awareness and those types of things have gotten significantly better. Not only like in just like general population, but like in my line of work, I've had to take other classes and read these books and articles and all sorts of things and talk to people who are in the experience to go, oh, no, it's real. It's real. Cause there's even a part of it that like, you know, the kind of older generations that come in, they're just like, why aren't you, what do you mean? You want tits now? What do you mean? You know? And it's like, well, it's not that simple. And it's very spectrum based. You're like, because you said it yourself, you're like, I don't hate the parts I got. Just gotta change it up here a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So when it comes to talking with people, like, are you like really, really cautious about this stuff? Are you very like open and just kind of like, whatever, bring it all on? Like, how do you talk about it?
I think you kind of get a feeling for who you can talk to and not. I think it's very obvious when someone just kind of isn't cool with whatever.
Yeah.
And fortunately, like there was a video I was watching that it was like the 10, it was one of those top 10 type of things, and it was like the 10 worst tattoos ever.
Right.
And they showed one where a dude had the word racist just tattooed on his forehead, big and bold as ever.
Okay.
Yeah, on his forehead.
Was that a punishment or?
No, it was like he had that done.
Okay.
And the commentator, the person doing the video, was like, if only they were all this easy to spot.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is you kind of can.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, but you kind of can get a feel when someone's like, "Oh, I hate you because you're wearing a dress, but your driver's license says M on it."
Right.
Weirdo. And it's like, no, you can kind of tell. Again, not always, and you have to. I do believe there's a little bit of you got to be a little cautious, and you got to feel people out. But the nice thing about the furry fandom, with some very specific exceptions,
mm-hmm.
the furry fandom is very accepting. And I think that's why this is why so many people who have been in a position of being outcast and criticized and not welcomed into like mainstream culture or whatever,
sure,
end up finding their way to the fandom. And because 95% of the people in the fandom they just want to have a good time.
Yeah,
they just want to draw their little funny, which here's an ancient term, funny animals. They're little funny animals characters back in the early days of the furry fandom. That's the term they used.
Funny animals, huh?
Funny animals, yeah.
Okay.
Stop aging. I'm not aging myself, kid. I read stuff even though I can't read. So now I guess I'm making a liar out of myself.
Pick a direction to swing here, kid.
I know I'm all over the place. But no, yeah, they just want to draw their little characters and hang out and go to cons and drink and party and hang out and just have a good time. Nobody really gives a shit. Like I said, there's a couple exceptions where it's like, yeah, you get out, go. No.
Yeah, right.
But for the most part, yeah, it's just an accepting community that they just want to hang out. They just want to chill,
right?
Have fun.
Right. I think that's something that's it's wild to me to think that there are non-accepting people in this world that is so kind of alternative to like the mainstream, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
To think that there are people who are in the alternative. I mean, I think gatekeeping and stuff like that happens in any sort of fandom.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's universal. So it's not surprising to see it in like the trans community or for whatever.
Yeah.
Like name it, and I think you're gonna see it to one extent or another, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of human nature, which sucks. But
yeah,
it is what it is. And I hate that term, but
well, it's so interesting to think that like how can you be in the alternative community, the community that is meant to be not accepted by the mainstream, and then people come in and you're like, get out of here, you're too mainstream or whatever.
Here's a great example of one that like I personally like kind of can't wrap my brain around. First of all, I had to have somebody explain to me what it was, because I kept seeing the term TERFs.
Yes.
And I was like, TERF? What the hell is that? Like what's a TERF?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, a friend of mine, explained it to me, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
Because me personally, like, okay, if I was a feminist or whatever, like whatever, I had a cause and I was fighting for something, I would want as many people on my side as possible.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're trans. Well, and we'll say I'm incredibly narrow-minded, and I'm saying, oh, well, you're not really a lady, but you want to be, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's semantics and being shitty or not. I would be like, yeah, come on, here, take a sign, wear a pin, you know, fight for our cause and stand up for our side because you clearly want to, you genuinely want to, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Man, woman, child, whatever. I'd want you on my side. I'd want you as an ally.
Mm-hmm.
If you were genuinely wanting to fight for my cause, I'd be like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
But then there's turf. It's like, oh, you're not a lady enough to be. It's like, who? Like I said, just even trying to describe it makes my brain hurt.
Well, it's again that gatekeeping, very you know, exclusionary. Fucking, it's a logical fallacy. Number one, right? Because like then you're not following all the rules, or not rules, but all the kind of ideals that is feminism.
Yeah.
Because
like you're essentially being a giant hypocrite.
Yeah, and that is to exclude people based on you're like, well, not quite. It's like what, is there a fucking height requirement? What the fuck is this? You know?
Yeah, you must be exactly this tall to fight for our cause, or it's like, what the hell is going on? What?
Yeah, like it's not like feminism at all.
Yeah, like I said, that's why like my head aches trying to understand it. I was having a conversation with Aoife, who's been hanging out with us the other night, about how like I can't really get like being racist or just even being mean to people in general. I mean, I know I'm like a big squishy soft-hearted idiot, but at the same time it's like I understand if someone's a dick, but even then I'm like hesitant to be openly and deliberately mean. So
right.
I don't understand why people can just be so mean.
Yeah, it
blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you. First of all, because I've never, it's never like even like made sense to be like, I don't like that person based on one thing, you know. And if you're allowed to, you know, not like a certain style of music, or you know, you're allowed to not like things, but to be truly, you know, transphobic, racist, those types of things, I'm with you. It didn't make sense to me, and I'm like,
yeah,
what do I care? You know, what do I care that person has different color skin, or what do I care that that person now they want different parts or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and
they want to go by she now. Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
and I've always been one to say that like, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting someone else, I don't care what the fuck you do.
Right.
I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I don't care what you wear, as long as it's not like affecting me directly in a malicious way. Like I might be, you know, I'm a person. I'm a giant cat, but the same rules apply.
Yeah.
I get uncomfortable.
Sure.
There's things that kind of make me go, ooh, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's a little odd, but hey, you're not hurting me or whatever, so
right.
Have fun, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll just remove myself from the situation, and that's for me to whatever. I'm not gonna be like, you stop that right now. It's like
wagging the finger. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's like, why? It's dumb, and that's mean and ignorant. So it's like, if I don't like something, I'm just gonna like, I'll go over here and you guys have fun. Let me know when you're done, and I'll come hang out with you if you're cool people, and you know, when you're done swinging from the chandeliers. And
it's almost I think you and I are similar in the way, excuse me, that it's not because I had to like be taught to be not homophobic or transphobic or whatever. It was more born out of like apathy. You're like,
yeah,
I don't care. Like, knock yourself out. You're fucking dudes. Right on, man. You know?
Yeah, like I always said, if I ever ran for president, I would run on a platform of just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care.
Vote for Kincade. Don't give a shit. Because it's like why why bother? And it's like, and any kind of trepidation, like I was saying earlier, was based on just not knowing and being slightly uncomfortable with the unknown. And that's why, like I said, I talked to my friend. It was like, okay, please explain this to me. Tell me more so I can get it. Because I don't like not getting it and feeling weird about it. Because that's not cool. That's not cool for you, and it's not cool for me either. I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And you don't want me to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Right. I'm not
about it.
I'm not out here to try and make people like feel uncomfortable with me being around. You know?
Yeah.
Or any thoughts or ideals that I've had in the past, right? You go, oh yeah, I mean, okay, we're different. That's fine. You're not hurting anybody, right? Non-consensually, I suppose is an important piece to that hurting people thing.
Yeah, that's true. Because you can, like we were saying earlier about communication, you can just fuck up and not even mean it and be like, oh shit, I dropped a rock on your foot. I didn't mean to do that. That was just too at the time.
Yeah, and I think even you know, a common thing that ends up happening in the trans community, like and it's talked about a lot, pronoun.
Yeah.
Like, and this is to like in chat, try your hardest, you're gonna fuck up once or twice. I mean, they're literally I put them down here. I put them down here. Just so that people can know pretty quickly. But I imagine going like, oh well, you know, Kincade and using the wrong pronouns and then going, my bad, you know, she, like that kind of thing.
One that flusters me a lot, and I try really hard to get it right. They them. Like I'll just like for whatever reason, my brain is like. He, her, shit, them.
Right.
You know, for what, I don't know why, but it's one like I actively, like I have to think about. Whereas like she, her, he, him, just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, no, they're a girl, they're a guy. For whatever reason, they, them just makes my brain go, oh, they, them.
Right.
I don't know why. But because I have a couple friends that are non-binary, so I try to be respectful of that.
Right, of course. And I think, you know, and I've talked with other people who are either non-binary or go by they, them, and they always say, like, just don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Correct yourself quickly, move on. Yep.
Yeah, and that's like with me, it's, you know, especially would be like if you can't see me, or even in my stream, I'll get he, himmed every now and again.
Sure, yeah.
And it's because of the voice, I get that. Also because there are VTuber, and somebody very recently was like, oh hey, what are your pronouns? And I was like, oh, it's she, her. I said, you know, I'm trans. I said, I know the voice throws you off, it's okay. And they're like, actually no, I just in general wanted to make sure, because there's a couple furry VTubers that I watch that are essentially guys with breasts.
Right. And
they still use male pronouns, but they have like a huge rack.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? I think I might know one that you like. They even said, oh yeah, there's so and so, and I was like, wait, does their character look like this, and this? And they're like, yeah, and I was like, okay, I know who you're talking about, and okay, that makes perfect sense now. I get you.
Right.
And again, that's like a thing of understanding and just communicating it.
Yeah, and there's yeah, communication's big, and also just like keeping yourself as informed as possible. because we were talking about earlier, like that whole spectrum thing. Like you might one day change and like you come to me and we're talking about something and you're like, I go by they them now, and I'm like, okay, got it, you know. And that's just as an example, and like that's also why, even though you had already once told me you were like she her, and I was like, cool, got it. I asked you literally right before stream again, just to be like, still she her, and you were like, yep. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, and that even I can even understand your perspective on that, because you mentioned how like you have kids that you work with that like are constantly, they're still figuring it out, so they're constantly shifting back and forth or trying new things or whatever too. So you have like an added little like variable to throw into just your normal understanding. You're like, okay, a lot of other people. Okay, let me make sure. Okay,
yep.
Awesome.
I am. I have a group of kids that I work with that are all, you know, either non-binary or they're to make it, you know, as short as possible, they're in the sexual minority, right? But one of them has neo pronouns and they go by they them.
Oh, okay. See, and that's something I've heard of. I really haven't encountered it a whole heck of, but yeah, no, I am familiar enough that like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I know about that. Like,
yeah, and it is interesting to like your brain to kind of like change the word, just like it doesn't quite fit into like the language that I learned.
Yeah, no, your brain. It's kind of like how I was saying with the I almost did it just by fucking tongue-tangulation. It fits into that, like how I was saying, the they them thing flummoxes me ever so slightly. Like, my brain takes like a half a second longer to go, say this. Oh, thank you, brain.
Yes.
You're being helpful for a change. Thank you.
Oh wait. Them. You know? Yeah, and they're it's this new, very new thing, and not common, and very interesting to kind of have to just, you know, change in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we as humans or giant cats are so programmed to want to put things in this box.
Yeah, and the world is far more gray than it is black and white, and I wish people could understand that and actually be halfways okay with it, because there's so many shades and contrasts and different colors, and it's like, no, you can't just put in a box and have that only be in a box ever, because like people don't work like that, relationships don't work like that, fucking genders don't work like that, and nothing is like that. So stop. But it's kind of like you said, people are sort of programmed that way from birth. Like I said, any more than like how I can't understand being mean to people.
Right. That's learned behavior for sure.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people that are like completely okay with being like, you know, you don't look like me, go die in a fire. Yeah. Which is horrible.
Yeah, it's awful and still makes zero sense. It's like, I don't care.
I know. I like the comment you made where it's like, it's kind of like born out of apathy. It's like, that's too much effort to like not like you because you have blue hair or fucking whatever. So it's like, you do you. It's cool, whatever.
Yeah. Again,
as long as you're not like hitting me with rocks, I'll be fine.
Right. Like you could be decked out in like all the body mods in the world, right? Go for it. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, you can have a face that looks like a portcullis and just whatever.
Right. And as long as you're not coming up to me and headbutting me directly in the nose, I don't care. Knock yourself out. Go for it. Why do I care?
I know. If anything, I'll be like intensely fascinated by all the detail of the hardware that you've installed into yourself, and that's probably going to be about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's neat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done now. Have fun. Have
Yeah.
a good day. Bye.
I actually was at a concert last night, and somebody had like horns, like not super big horns, but they had like body
The
mods.
little like nubbins. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rad.
And
That's
I was
cool
like,
as shit.
wow, that's just so cool. And like, I found myself staring, and definitely not on purpose, and wasn't trying to like start anything. But then like, I look at it and I was like, God, wouldn't that just hurt so bad? You know, like.
See, I'd be like too tempted to go up to him and just be like asking a million questions.
Yeah.
And I think I get that from my mom, because my mom is just one of these people that she like she's always said, if I knew, I wouldn't have asked you. And I was like, okay. And then she's like always asking people like, oh, how do you do what? Oh, what's that? Like, oh, where'd you get that? Or how's that work? Or did it take like a power drill to install that into your skull, or did they just kind of like screw it in? Like how's that work? You know? And I think I get that a little bit from her, because like, I would have been like, dude, oh shit, where'd you get that? How are those in there? Do they move around, or are they stuck, or what? You know? And he'd probably be incredibly annoyed with me and just be like, fuck off, okay? I'm sorry. I like your little horns.
I'm just so interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
That natural curiosity.
Again, I'm cat.
Once again, I'd like to point out that I am a cat.
Yes.
One of the later questions that I was gonna ask, has there been anything that's been just like radically unhelpful that someone told you in your kind of journey to get to where you are now?
Yeah, but it's been like, I think it's just been like indirect stuff that maybe was more criticism than actual like helpful. Like I mentioned, you know, getting criticized about my voice.
Sure.
And my efforts to train it and so on and so forth. I can't think of anything like just blatantly unhelpful.
Good. Well, I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah. It's more so just been like I said, unproductive criticism that kind of felt shitty at the time or whatever. Yeah. And
who the fuck?
And but yeah, so really like no just blatantly bad advice. Like you should, you know, hang yourself upside down by your toes and that'll give you titties.
Oh my god.
You know, yeah, nothing crazy like that.
I've never. I mean, how do you know that doesn't work?
I might try that tonight. Actually, I think I can. Yeah.
Just be a bat.
Yeah.
For a night.
I just end up with it backfire, and I just would have like really long toes now, so I could just.
Right.
Be an owl.
Your calves are like super long.
Yeah. Hi, yes, bat here. Yeah, Kit. Yeah, Kit is a bat.
Oh,
She's
lovely.
An adorable little bat. You know. She is pocket-sized, I believe. She's a tiny bat.
Small bat.
Small bat. Yes.
Small bat. Small bat, large cat.
Yes. Or maybe that's just the HR. Yeah, I might have more to do with the HRT kit, but we appreciate your input.
We can't confirm it's not sleeping upside down.
True, or a hybrid of both.
It could be
Maybe
both.
It helps the HRT flow to your chest better. Yeah, big brain moment.
Right. Like somehow the hair in your face goes back in.
Yes.
And then
Well, no, the
and
hair
then-
going back into your face is from like pulling on the hair on your head real
Right.
tight, and it
Okay.
yeah, it's like yeah.
And then just hanging upside down in combination with HRT,
Mm-hmm.
Bodonkahonkaroos, right?
Yeah. Look, yeah.
Okay.
Gorgeous rack.
And then
yeah.
and then one other, or at least if we get there with some of these other ones,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something. What is kind of like? What do you feel like is one of the bigger misconceptions of either your community or not just your streaming community, but the communities that you find yourself a part of, the trans and the furry, anthros, and stuff like that? What do you think are like the biggest misconceptions? And I know we talked a little bit about the like the fursuits and that stuff.
Yeah, and like bestiality. Everybody thinks that if you're furry, you're into bestiality or some crap like that.
Yeah, you're
and
trying
that's
to
just demonstrably untrue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do like I saw a comic on Twitter that kind of, because this when you said about the trans community, this is something that like just popped into my head.
Mhm.
It was a comic of like somebody shouting at like a trans girl about like, oh, well, you're just want to be a woman so you can date girls, like cis girls. Why do you never see trans girls dating each other or whatever? And like the comic showed that the woman that was getting yelled at was holding the hand of another trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, yeah, no, we again, gender identity has very little to do with sexual identity. Well, I mean, 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other, but they're not mutually exclusive or like part of one another. You can be gay and be a trans woman or a cis man or whatever, and so I think that's a big misconception. Or I know there's the whole bathroom issue, which is just disgusting. It's like, oh, you're just, men are dressing up as women just so they can be perverts and sneak into the girls' bathroom. It's like,
I hate
no,
that one. I hate that one. Ugh.
yeah, that one is appalling and idiotic. And I was by first. Doesn't change it. Yeah. So and there you go. Kit makes a great point. I told you I was still in some ways trying to figure out my my sexuality. And yeah, it's just that's a big one, I know. And then yeah, just with the furries, like just yeah, that we're all just weirdos that want to screw dogs or whatever.
Right.
It's like, you know, I don't
So
I almost, I can get where that might come from, and yes, there are people that have been, like I said, outed from the fandom because that's what they're into, and
right.
But it doesn't mean that that's what the fandom's about. There's so many nuances to why people are in the fandom, why people are furry. Shit, like I said, some of them are just there because it's a really rad party.
Yeah.
Some of them do artwork, and that's how they make their living.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always jealous of artists, people who can draw and.
Yeah, we were talking about that, before.
Yeah, right before the stream, and just like, and I know that, like, the community is very big into their art, because you can create different. At least this is my thinking around it, is like, well, I can be my character with a VTuber or with a suit or whatever, but there are still limits to that. With art, there are no limits to that, and I can do fucking whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the fun things, and I can't remember, it might have been something I was reading on Twitter or something of that sort. I can't quite remember, but a comment that somebody made was that one of the most amazing things or unique things about the furry fandom is that the art people make is almost wholly original. Like in other fandoms, like we'll use anime for example. Like you might go to an anime con, and Gunmouth could probably attest to this because that's actually how him and I met, was going to anime cons.
Nice.
And he would sell his wares. He would peddle his goods and services at
what
the.
Are you buying? Yeah.
That's where they got that character, was Gunmouth. That's how he dresses, and
honestly, that checks out.
Yeah, he just
100%.
opens up his coat. There's a bunch of pictures of naked furry characters in there, and he's like, "What are you buying?" Katsucon, yeah. Oh my God, Katsucon. Remember SnowCon? Gun.
Just walking around the floor and then just be like, "What are you selling?"
Yeah, what are you selling? I'll buy it at a high price. But
they're like,
no,
you don't have to haggle here.
yeah, you just. But at anime cons, like you might have an artist and like they have you, your customer wants you to draw like a picture of Naruto or something like that.
Sure.
But with furry, it's all these weird, wonderful, creative little monstrosities that people dream up in their head and say, like, here's my reference sheet, draw this guy.
Right.
And it's unique in and of itself, because the furry fandom is just it's like a plethora of all these original characters that people have come up with to either identify as or to have in this little world that they've created. And yeah, it's just like I said, it was something I was reading, and I feel I'm not doing the explanation justice.
Right.
But it is it is something unique about the fandom, is that like artists end up creating art that is, that's what it was. They were it's art that's all one-offs, because I think this came up around the time when the NFT thing started to like rear its ugly head and kind of become prominent.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, if you want original one-of-a-kind art, go to a furry artist, because that's all they do.
Right.
They draw like a picture of a unique character that nobody else has possession of. I mean, like, this is kind of embarrassing. I get recognized because of the art that I've gotten over the years. Like, I actually was talking to someone last night that they were like, "Oh yeah, no, I went to such and such website and saw pictures of you." And I was like, wait, I know this black arm, white line, the scar on it. Wait, I know this. Oh shit, that's Kincade.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's so weird. Yeah, Kit's like, I think Kit, like, you were one of the people that like confessed to me later after we had been friends for a while. Like, oh yeah, no, I used to look at your art like years ago and really love your character. And then when I met you, I was like, holy shit, this is that same person. What the fuck?
That's actually amazing.
Yeah, no, it's freaky and it's cool and it's wonderful. And I don't think you really see that anywhere else.
Right. Well, I mean, you could see that with in other forms of media, I guess. You could see that with I'm trying to remember her name. Chechik, Ariana Chechik, right? Like, people are like, "Oh, I know her from this," but now she's doing this, and that's awesome. Yeah, she was a big old movie star.
Oh, in the motion picture film industry of Hollywood.
Probably more like in Van Nuys, but yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Shit. But yeah, no, like, I like how your chat started lighting up with people. Oh yeah, no, I did that too. I did. Oh, I remember. It's like, oh, okay. Hee hee, hee hee, ho ho, haha.
But there's, and I don't think there's like the fact that it's a character, like that's you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like that being recognized that way is such an odd an odd experience.
Mm-hmm.
I somebody came in to a Tank Bros thing once and like said that they like recognized like Cam's gamer tag or something, and they were just like, oh my god, like we played this million years ago at this game or whatever, and it was like, wow, people can really latch onto something like that.
Oh yeah, no. And Kit makes a great point. She's like, it's even weirder when you get a model made and hop into VR with it. And I remember when I first got a model that was not even fully like what my character looked like,
Right.
but just the colors was right. It had the scar on the eye, it had the one black arm, and I cried. Like I looked into one of the VR world mirrors, saw me looking back, and I started to cry.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was weird and magical and just cool. It's just cool. We live in an incredibly terrifying and frightening, messed up fucking world, but there is also just so much magic and goodness to be found in it as well. There's wonderful things every day, and it's great.
I think something that people will get, people and giant cats, of course, that need to get reminded of is there is and can still be beauty and grace in the world, even when shit feels like it fucking sucks,
Yeah.
and I think specifically like I don't want to, I mean, shit, just like look at TikTok, right? Obviously there's a lot of really fucking ugly stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
But there are some absolute fucking gems out there.
Oh god, yeah.
Like that, whether it be just in like the world of comedy, and I'm not talking that straight dude comedy, okay? Not all the comedy that's out there is just like, I hate my wife. Like I hate that shit. Oh god.
Yeah.
Like it like makes my skin crawl. I'm like, that's not fucking funny, Before I go off. But there's some amazing, writers. Like there are people who like write their skits out, and things are like crazy, like intertwined, or they create these like wild characters, and there's really silly stuff, there's really wholesome stuff. The best example of like a silly thing in the world of, and also Boys Will Be Boys, that I saw, and it's a great wholesome example, is just these two roommates that it's just like day 13 of throwing random stuff at my roommate with his blindfold on to see if he can guess what it is. And the video, he throws it and the video always cuts off after he's like, yeah, or wrong, and that's it. Like he threw like a package of like the entire handful of like uncooked noodles at him once,
Oh god.
And he's like, was that just, and he was like, was that pencils? And he's like, wrong. And then the video's done.
Yeah.
Like,
god, that reminds
it's beautiful.
That reminds me of no, that's amazing. And like there's a ton of just people that and just real quick, yes, kid, it is your fault. My VR existence is your fault directly, because it kind of is.
No, yeah, noted.
But no, there's like so many people out there that do like just amazingly creative things. Like unbelievably creative, just like, and it's like, where do you get what? Like, how did you come up with that? Where like I made the joke when we were going on break about like just pulling stuff out of my ass, but it's like, yeah, no, they just like pluck these weird little gems of ideas out of there. Like you said, like oh hey, I'm gonna throw something at my roommate and see if he can guess what it is, and it's like, this is day 15.
Yeah.
I've been kind of quasi obsessed with the there's a YouTuber that does like dramatic readings of SCP files.
Oh yes.
And just all those things, these weird things that'll just kill you because they're otherworldly, that people come up with. And it's nutty and it's so cool. Aoife like is doing this amazing ARG thing with her stream, and there's so many people that are creating like this crazy, interesting, fascinating content. And I think Gunn said at one time that like there's kind of this new revolution of just people making their own stuff and putting it on the internet and finding creative ways to express themselves and do different stuff. And
yeah,
he's also the one that talked about how, and this is slightly scooting away from what we were talking about, but just the fact that like when we were kids, you'd sit on the couch with your friends and play video games. Right. Well, you get to do the same thing now, but it's a really big couch.
Yeah.
And everybody's there to watch you play your game, but it's essentially the same thing, and it's just cool. And this is this world we live in. Like I said, it's scary as fuck. Like it's fucking terrifying.
It can be,
but it's really awesome too.
I personally love the world of now that the access to creation stuff is so much more available. And I know it's not to everybody, and that's a hard part about it. But like to see all these things out there, all these different creators doing different things. You and I are in a similar realm of we're just trying to make people feel good. Yeah. You know, whatever I'm, doing that day, whether it's power washing or
I love that game, by the way.
Oh my god,
intensely relaxing.
Oh, it's brain go burr like 100%.
Yeah. I would play it on stream, but I'm too afraid of like
just zoning into
off
it
while I'm just zoning out and dozing off, and then it turns into a sleep stream, which Twitch doesn't like those unless you have a moderator.
I fucking love it, and it's also like a departure from like Fall Guys or something, where the best example, and somebody messaged me about it, said that they hadn't laughed hadn't laughed that hard in a really long time, is when I was playing Fall Guys and I like fucked up and I started yelling at myself as both Marty and the Doc from Back to the Future.
Oh god.
It was literally just me going back and forth on my own mic of just like, "You gotta jump, Marty," and I'm like, "I tried, Doc," like that. Like that's all I fucking did.
I do that every once in a while. Because again, this goes back to being an '80s kid, and anybody who knows the green horror sticker that was on the video cassette tape, so that you knew that video, that the cover had all the blood on it and the eyeballs was a horror video, just in case you were mistaken.
Just in case you weren't sure.
It would be kind of faded and peeled off and whatever. So when I started doing the Friday Night Frights thing again, it just popped into my head. I was like, oh, I need the green horror sticker on screen with me, so that people know I'm playing horror, just in case they come into the stream and see me getting murdered by a toothy monster of some sort and go, is this Terraria? Is this Celeste? No, it's a horror game.
Whoa, I just beat Celeste.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
A beautiful
Celeste
journey.
Celeste is a trip. Yeah.
Beautiful journey.
Yes. But no. So I have the green horror sticker, and every so often I'll just start talking to it. Nobody can hear what it's saying but me, because it's a green horror sticker. It whispers sadness into your ear, and so I'll just start talking to it.
Yeah.
Randomly as a bit, just as a shtick. I have like one of the things that randomly drops on my head. You guys get to see the sombrero, but there's an anvil. There's a big anvil that falls on my head, makes a big clang sound, and I always ham it up like I can't remember where I am or whatever. You know, it's just again a shtick that you do on stream, and that's some of the times I'll start talking to the horror sticker. They go, what was I doing? What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And it's like, but yeah, that's just some of the, I don't know. It's just some of the shit we get to fucking play with and have fun with doing this.
Yeah, that's just like your creativity coming through and getting to be a big part of that. I think that's awesome.
Kit's talking about, and I have a clip of it, but somebody was asking me what I like to drink, like alcohol wise, and they were like, oh, and I said, oh, I like rum, and they're like, oh, do you like your rum straight or in juice or soda? And I was like, well, I drink, and right as I got to the word drink, somebody called in that redeem and the sombrero landed on my head. And there's a pie.
I see that.
Yeah. I heard it too. God damn it. Who did that? Lena. Hi, Lena. Thank you. Thank you for illustrating my point. But no, right I was like, well, I like to drink, and the sombrero landed on my head, and I was like, tequila.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect moment. My brain cooperated with me for a minute and was like, say this, it'll be hilarious. And it was time for it was hoping for the sombrero. It was me. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was you called it in. You called it in, kid. I remember that. Yeah. And it's stuff like that. It's like these little fun moments that and you can improv or come up with something on the fly, and like you like voicing both parts of your skit with Marty and the Doc. God, I love Back to the Future. Fuck. Anyway,
Yeah.
you mention a movie and it just triggers those fucking.
They are
that
good.
Big movie nerd.
Oh, I don't disagree. I think they're great.
Yeah. Do you
so-
remember the cartoon?
No, I'm not
You
from the
never watched-
80s.
This was like 90s? Yeah, whatever. But they had a Back to the Future cartoon for Saturday morning cartoons, and it was great.
I may have been a touch young.
Possibly, yes.
So what I usually do here at the end is give you a little chance here to self-promote, you know, and not get banned immediately. I'm just kidding.
Right.
I had one person, I want to say it was a month or two ago, but they I think I was streaming Star Wars Fallen Order. And they came in first time chat and they were like, I'm playing this too in about an hour. You should come check it out. Like, no.
Yeah, what the frick? What the hell? I think I just, dumb luck prevails.
Yeah.
That's not anything I've ever really had a problem with. I don't think I've ever had someone pull like self-promotion crap in my stream that I can remember off the top of my head. And so, yeah, just been, again, knock on wood, I've just been kind of lucky.
Yeah, that's great.
When it comes to all that shit.
No, you want that. You definitely want that.
Yeah. No, I want to keep that streak going if possible.
Yeah, you want that dumb luck to keep going, because
yeah, I think the closest I had is I did have someone that was like, oh, I'm gonna be doing my stream blah 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 for like the first time or something, you should come. It was more they wanted me to come watch them because they liked my stream and whatever. So I was like, okay,
Sure.
that's not a big deal, whatever. And I actually like clicked on their name and opened their. I think I opened it in another tab because I was still streaming. I was like, I can't watch you when I'm live, my dude. But
Right. Yeah, and I think there is like, if like the streamer's asking you about it, you know, then feel free to talk about your stream and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I did. Like, I think I asked them, well, what are you streaming? And they're like, oh, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll see if I can't stop in. And yeah, but
yeah, I think and it's like I said, it rarely has ever happened, but it was like this weird, just like, I'm gonna be streaming this in an hour, like you should raid me or whatever, and I was like, no.
Oh God, yeah, that's really scummy.
And I'm like,
it's really uncouth.
Maybe get to know me a little first.
Yeah. How about you hang out for a couple days or whatever, or stop by a couple of streams and be chill instead of just being like, oh hey, come raid me, and it's like, no.
Yeah, first time chat, and also it was like not following or anything.
Yeah, at least buy me dinner before you pull my hair, and
it's at least kiss me if you're gonna fuck me. Yeah. Yeah, it is really funny. It is really funny that, I don't know, there's like a disconnect or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the mouth works before the brain ever engages. And it's even worse because it's like you're typing this, so it's like you have a minute to like think about
you can edit it.
Yeah, and you can delete. There's a delete button too that just makes it all go away, and then you never have to say it.
Yeah.
So.
So here is your chance. Self-promote, and then we'll hop into like a Q&A for anybody who does have any questions for Kin or myself, or both.
Yeah.
Or both,
yeah.
Whether it's...
You could ask each other things. Oh no, we've been doing that for the past however many hours. But no.
This is my show. I'm asking the question.
True. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Back up.
Get the spray bottle out. Kiss. Anyways,
that's in the bathroom, and I use that to get my hair wet.
Yeah, to get the anyways.
Go ahead.
For all you folks in the audience, thank you for listening to me. I have been Kincade MK, Kincade _MK. There's a story about that, but anyways, I'm a variety streamer. I stream all kinds of crazy crap, mostly horror games because that's what I love. And you can find me over on my channel Tuesday to Friday.
I'll be right here.
Hi, Neil.
Sean Rockers is now following.
Sean Rockers, thank you so much for the fight. Man, thank you.
A lot of.
It's in my nose. Oh, he's back.
Right.
He keeps showing up.
Here.
He does.
But yeah, no, I'm live.
Wolf 138 is now following.
Wolf, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that very much. But yeah. Huh?
Focus up. You're back.
Who are you?
We're live.
What?
We're live.
Oh God!
Don't fuck it up.
Oh, I'm Kincade _MK over on Twitch TV. There's a duck. I'm a variety streamer and I play a lot of horror games. Come hang out and it'll be fun. Yay! I also have a Twitter where you can follow me. It's Kincade _MK.
Is that on your Twitch channel that I just posted? Like, can you get to your thing from there?
I need to fix the link because I changed the @name.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. But yeah, no, my Twitter is where I post when I go live. I also yes, that which it's cropped. You can't see it. Ha 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 ha.
I can't see anything.
Actually, here, if you'll permit me, I'll just copy and paste my Twitter link.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what this is. Yeah, because that's where I post when I go live. I don't have a Discord or any of that stuff. It's just mostly like, oh hey, I'm going live. Let's hang out. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting head pats now. So yay.
Lovely.
Blah.
Yes. So, now's the part where we do basically, we've been focusing a little bit on the chat, but not entirely.
Yeah.
So feel free to ask any questions either to Kin, to myself. It can be related to anything we've talked about or not. For instance, Bigger Ultra once talks about just like what was one of your favorite moments while streaming, and I was like, that's a really nice question,
Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
So it can be anything. Yes. Can you remind me what they were? I remember the neo-pronouns question.
Yeah.
So neo-pronouns are like, if you literally break out the word right there, right? Neo meaning new, and then pronouns. It's a new subset of pronouns that are basically any kind of pronoun that you want to be used. The most common one you see often is with the X, the they them, like that. That's kind of the most common one you see, but it is not common like at all. Yeah, and thank you, Kit. And Z0, exactly. So you don't see them super often. There are more that I don't know about, and you may or may not run into.
Yeah,
they're out there.
Oh yeah,
and it's cool because it's just a new pronoun to learn, and you kind of get used to that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Okay.
You just kind of work it out in your head, and like hopefully the person that you're talking to will be chill if you fuck it up, and you just say, oh sorry, I'm trying to get used to it. Just be easy going. I think that's one of the main things we were kind of going after all night.
Yes, correct yourself quickly and move on.
Yeah.
Like the popular furs, how transphobia is big in population, and how do we stop it? And do you know Miss Abby Synth Supertrap? I feel like I recognize the name Miss Abby Synth, but I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one, but I'm horrible with names. Like I'm terrible with trying to remember names, especially like I get flummoxed a lot when it comes to like band names. Like, oh, the Rudy Tootin' Rockers. I'm like, who the hell is that? And they're like, trust me, you've heard their music. And I'm like, here's one of their songs. Oh, I love that song.
The Rudy Tootin' Rockers.
Yeah.
It's so it's such like a wholesome band name.
Yeah, it's like they perform at IHOP.
Yeah, it's lovely.
She's a furry VTuber. Nice. Okay. I'll have to check her out.
Is she really popular? Is that why like maybe I recognize that name?
Yeah.
I wonder if she's just like really big and has shown up on the front page or something.
Possibly, or maybe I've seen a tweet with them in it, or
like
just didn't realize it.
Yeah, it gets retweeted or liked by somebody.
Yeah.
Twitter always letting you know when people are getting horny on main, and
exactly. And that's the fun part.
You know what? It's like it's same with with Steam, right? When your Steam lets your friends know.
God.
And you're like,
oh God,
you're playing something like totally on the opposite spectrum, and then all of a sudden it's just like it's basically this large announcement that your friend's jerking off. And you're like, okay.
I could and like I'm glad my brain works quicker than my mouth. Kind of like we were saying with the typing. Yeah. Because like a title of something popped into my head. And I was like, no, don't say that. That will reveal far too much about you. But no, like like the thing with transphobia, that's a tough nut to crack, because right now it's like the right and all these other people are just so vehemently vicious about like attacking trans people right now. And I don't know what the answer is. I wish I did. I really wish I did, because I just, hey, there, do this. But one of the best things to do, or one of the things that we can do, is like, because right now, there's like a lot of legislation that they're trying to sneak through that targets queer folk and trans people, and it's disgusting. And they basically want to make it illegal for us to exist.
Right.
And the best thing we can do is identify the type of candidates that I can answer that last one. Yes, me. And there you go. But the best thing we can do is identify candidates and people who are on our side, and will make this shit not happen, and vote them into office.
Right.
And it's such a shitty thing to say. Like I kind of hate it. I kind of hate it. Like, oh, just get out there and vote. And it's like, well, number one, they're trying to make it impossible for people to fucking vote.
Yeah.
And two, it's there's more nuance to it than that, but that's a big one, is to try to get people that will be on our side and pass bills because they actually give a shit about the person sitting next to them, or the person across the street, or the person 2 blocks down. They care that isn't a giant corporation.
Yeah, and they're trying to make legislation so that corporations are people too, and I'm like, no, the fuck they're not.
No, they're not. They're monstrosities.
Yeah, and all I was gonna say is kind of along the same things as I believe Kit was saying, was just normalizing, making it kind of like a part, like a normal piece in education, and because like it's not it's not indoctrination, you know. There's nothing.
Yeah, or I hate the very disgusting word, grooming. I fucking hate that. That is.
Yeah, because something that I have unfortunately run into with some parents is like, in my office there's a pride flag, literally just a rainbow fucking flag. It's not like it's like a huge flag or anything, but it's just a little, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just so that, you know, people know that it's a safe space and I'm cool with it and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like I had like a parent come in and be like, yeah, we don't like talk about that stuff. Like, I don't want you like talking to my kid about that stuff. And like, I'm like, what stuff is so taboo? And they like kind of like did like the like head lean like toward like the flag. They're like, that stuff. And I kind of had to like hold my tongue instead of being like, well, you're just a bigot, so fuck you. But I kind of had to go, what's worrying you about talking about anything, you know, related to the LGBTQ plus, you know? And they were just like, well, we don't want anything like to get in their head or seed in their head. I was like, oh.
Oh my God. I would have been fired.
Well, I'm not allowed to punch parents or anything, so.
Yeah.
As much as I might feel like it some days.
Or as much as they need it.
Just like
I'm going to prescribe to you a 1 knuckle sandwich.
Eat up once a day until you fucking get it.
Yeah, which is.
Yeah, I would say just keeping it normal education, you know, making it so that it's not this like big scary unknown thing.
Yeah,
and yeah, normalization is a big piece of that, which is just like when you hear somebody be like, my pronouns are they them, I'm like, okay, cool, that's gonna take me a minute to get, but I'll get there.
Yeah, yeah. Please be patient with me, but
And
I got you.
I'll say that a majority of people who have not the quote unquote normal pronouns, like they're usually like, I get it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Like they're cool. They're like, yeah. No, it's kind of weird sounding and it's an odd word, but you know, I'm cool. I'm down.
Yeah.
But and then like Volk, your one question. Yeah, I know. I have a couple trans friends that want to be moms, and that's amazing.
I have a friend in real life who is getting the bottom part done fairly soon, actually.
Oh,
And she's really excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, another friend of mine. She's like doing the process, like she's following the like getting all the paperwork and the approvals and the blah blah blah, and like really heading in that direction. And it's amazing. And it's very cool. And then Volk, I'm not. Me want to be a mom. Yeah, there's Trissy. Trissy.
It's like you got multiple people up in chat right now.
Yeah, Kit would be a great mom. She'd be like a scary mom. She'd be like that mom you don't want to like mess with their kids because she'll just power bomb you into a dumpster. Yeah, Trissy too. I don't want to piss Trissy off. No, these are wonderful people, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to call them friends. Yeah. And but yeah, and then Volk, your question about like popular furries, kind of like could you expound upon that? Like what do you want to know in terms of like popular furry people? Like I'm one that well, you never know what the future is going to bring, hon, as far as like medical technology and stuff that they're gonna fabricable up to be able to make stuff like that happen. So and but yeah, no, I'm like weird in that I don't really care if someone's popular or not. It's like if they're a good person, then great. If they're a dipshit, then I just probably won't have a whole heck of a lot to do with them. Yeah. So I don't know. I've been told that I'm popular, and I'm like, okay. What's the effect on the fandom? Huh?
Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Bigger Ultra asked, for me, it's about understanding both sides and discussing rationally. You said you would get fired and punch someone. Is that just a joke?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just joking. Unless they were like horrible and wanted to like do something crazy or hurt someone else, and I might have to get my dander up. But no, I'm just joking, because it's like that isn't a way to get your point across.
No, it's gonna deepen that hate and distrust more.
Because they're like, see how they are? I told you, you know, and it's like angry cat noises.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as far as like effect of like popular people in the community, in the fandom, you're gonna have that in any fandom, and you hope it's a good like it's kind of like celebrities. All right, it's kind of like mainstream celebrities. You hope that person is going to use their platform for something decent. Like very recently we had someone be really stupid, and now they don't have anything to do with a certain brand of sneakers because they're a dumbass.
Kanye is getting ripped from many things.
Oh yes, he is, and
I'm so glad.
So yeah, same. He's a
Did you see it? Did you see the? Did you see the? It might have been a TikTok or something, or on Instagram or something. But it was Kanye being like, yeah, I know what I said. What is? Do you think Adidas is gonna drop me? Which is a German company. He's like, you really think Adidas is gonna drop me at this point? And then like 10 days later, it's like Adidas was like,
because it was
fuck
the two.
That guy.
It was him saying that, and then like it was then and now or whatever, and it was him saying that, and then it was like that one CNN news anchor lady was like, the German sneaker corporation Adidas has parted ties with Kanye West over anti-Semitic comments, and it's like, good,
because
he's an idiot.
Yeah. Yep.
It's literally fuck around, found out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is a shit person, pretty much. But yeah, no, you would hope that like anyone who's popular within the fandom would use what renowned or whatever they may or may not have to just promote positive things and be like a good, not only a good representation of the community, but a voice within the community.
Yes.
For good things. I mean, any more than like very much technically I am representing the fandom today because I am on someone's channel who is not a furry. They're, you know, not in the fandom. There's many of your viewers that are probably not either. And like, what's this big white cat looking thing? What's this polar bear doing on Trav's channel? I get called a polar bear.
Do you?
More often than Yes, I don't know why they think I'm a polar bear. It's like, no, I'm a kitty. How could you mistake? I'm not a bear.
Yeah, bears are like much thicker.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, I get called a polar bear, and it's like, oh, okay.
You
You get called a wolf. Yeah, I've had people ask me like, well, what is your first? That at least I like when people say, well, what is your persona? I can say, well, I'm a lioness. I'm a white feline lion creature,
right,
of some sort. And but no, I get called a polar. Are you a polar bear?
That's so odd.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Do you like Coca-Cola? Anything, and yes, but that's beside the point.
You know what? That's fair. The pause.
Yeah.
The pause makes sense.
Yeah.
Although one of your paws is black, so
I don't know. It's and I have beautiful gold and silver fingernails, courtesy of Trissy.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just rocking a blue and black right now.
That's cool. That is rad. Yeah, I'm excited for because like I said, I'm trying to get to a convention here later, like 1st of December. And one of the people I'm going to hang out with was like, oh, you want me to do your nails? And I was like, yes. And also, definitely.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, we're going to have like a little nail painting party. So it's going to be fucking...
That's lovely.
Fucking rad. Yeah. But, yeah, what else did we get as far as questions?
There was a question that I don't remember exactly who asked it, but they asked about geek therapeutics. And while I don't know a ton about geek therapeutics, I know that basically what their kind of idea is they're trying to bring in like kind of more geeky things on like the stereotypical geeky side. So things like video games, D&D, technology, those types of things that are considered on the geeky side of things, but also bring like therapy into that.
Ooh.
So they've been like, they've been doing stuff, at least if I'm recalling correctly, is that they have like, they're like trying to like put money and stuff together to have like these people work on like either pre-written or whatever D&D campaigns that are therapeutic in nature.
Oh, that's freaking cool as shit.
Yeah, so like D&D writers, but also like but then like actual therapists and doctors and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's fucking dope. Yes, and they put out books also, thank you, Kibby, that they'll sometimes like dive into like the psyche of like certain characters in video games and stuff like that.
Oh, that reminds me, I have something good to add to that.
Which is cool.
Something a friend of mine, we were having this discussion because like Overwatch 2 just came out.
Yes.
And he was talking about how a friend of his who is a psychologist was actually doing psych profiles on the different characters in there. And he was saying how Sombra is clearly... I'm boycotting. Yeah, no, I know you are, Gun, and I completely understand why, and it's shitty. But no, he was saying how Sombra is very clearly on the autistic spectrum because of her obsession with normalizing like data. And he's like, it is so cool that they are like validating that and making it normal. Like they're normalizing it. In that they're having.
Has that been like confirmed by anything, or is that just like his kind
can't-
of idea of like, obviously I'm not sitting there in an interview, but
Yeah, I want to say yes, tentatively, because I can't remember the entire conversation.
okay.
But yeah, he was saying like there's clearly a lot of characters that have these different mental aberrations or variants, or however you want to put it in a respectful way that doesn't sound like you're crazy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, it's very clear. Like it has to be intentional, and it's cool to see this very popular video game normalizing this sort of thing. Because there's nothing wrong with Sombra. It's just how her brain works and what she's compelled to do because of the way her brain works.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with it, but that's like her drive and her motivation. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Determine that, but probably if it brings some good press. Yeah, unfortunately, gun. But like I said, tentatively, I want to say that yes, they have kind of said, oh no, yeah, she does. She's like obsessive compulsive or autistic on some level of the spectrum or something like that. But I can't remember the.
Very.
Yeah, they're different,
but they share a lot of the same like symptoms. So.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of
that seems
saying this.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of saying it in a way that I want to be clear.
Not digging
like,
a hole.
Take it with with a little grain of salt, but I know this was the discussion, and it was very, very interesting. And bottom line was the person who this was their friend was saying, yeah, it's cool to see them like bringing more awareness to these types of mental ways of just the way your brain works, and it's okay. You can still freaking function perfectly fine.
Funny Volk said, why do you think animals are social like some humans? Do you think we could study them to help humans? And the answer is yes, and we have. I don't know if you've heard of Rat Park before.
Oh, okay. So,
like, have you heard of Rat Park before?
Mm-mm.
Anybody in chat either? It was a drug study where they basically Rat Utopia, Rat Park, yeah, very similar. They probably just had the similar names. Like they had one structure that had like rats, and they had everything they wanted. They had food, they had water, they had friends, they had like running wheels and ball, all the stuff they could ever want. And then in another one, they put food and water, but that's all they put in there. But they also put a drip of like a drug mixture, like I think it was a cocaine mixture actually. And they also put the cocaine mixture in the Rat Utopia. So they noticed that without like proper stimulation and all these other things, no friends, all that kind of stuff, is the rats would go for the cocaine all the fucking time.
Oh my god.
But in the Utopia, they might try it once and then they fuck off for the rest of it. They're like, I don't need it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So it just shows like that like it's kind of, and I'm totally paraphrasing the fuck out of it right now. But
I was just doing that myself, so I get that.
It was very interesting to kind of like look at addiction that way. Like there's a reason that like drug users end up going back to drugs all the time because they don't have the proper supports and setup. There's a TED talk on it. It's super interesting, as well as like the study itself is like, it's like fucking 98 pages. So like, don't do that. But like, but I would suggest checking it out. There's probably plenty of YouTube videos and stuff that like explain it in a much more condensed way.
Well, to kind of add to that too, I was having a discussion with IFA the other night in VR because, to quote a friend of mine, I love 3D Discord. It's my favorite program.
That's cool.
I was talking about this video where it was this little old lady, and it was, I believe, I don't know if it was Japan or China or wherever. It was obviously not the US. That was like, I was like, oh, clearly wherever this is, they have like a nice social safety system in place, because what this lady was doing, she had this giant piece of paper like up on a fence. She took a bucket, and then with her mittens, she had like woolen mittens. She slathered all this black paint over it, and then started like drawing like a cherry blossom tree, and was using like her little fingertips with her mitten, like her little wool gloves, to do the cherry blossoms. And it was like, it's like, this is what happens when you have a proper social like security system for your society, that people don't have to worry about starving. You have the ability to be like, oh, well, I get my check for whatever each week, so I can pay my rent, I can buy some food, and ooh, I'm gonna buy some art supplies and be creative. Because and Aoife pointed this out. She's like, yeah, there's this big misconception that's kind of ingrained into the part of our culture that wants to like push everyone down and profit off of it, is that when people have free money, they're not going to do shit. They're just going to sit around and be lazy and useless all the time. And it's like, no one wants to feel useless.
Right.
No one wants to feel useless.
Yeah.
So you're going to do something, and you might be the next great poet or philosopher or painter or whatever. Like this little old woman that was just creating these beautiful, beautiful things because she had the time to, because she didn't have to worry about going hungry.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. It actually sounds kind of similar to the Rat Park thing, when there's like, when you have everything you need, you don't have to, you don't do the shitty stuff, and you're doing great, and you're fucking all your rat friends all you want, you know?
Yeah, you don't need your escapism, because it's like, life's pretty cool.
Life's pretty dope.
As
I have a running wheel, and I have water and food, and I just fucked my friend a second ago.
Some sawdust.
It's pretty
I got
cool.
some sawdust to kind of cuddle up in, and this was rad.
Things kind of kick ass right now. One last thing that I'm gonna do for us here is Kit said, still waiting for someone to do an accurate representation of DID in media. Yes, DID, dissociative identity disorder, for those who don't know. And it's not condescending, by the way. I know some people don't know. It's what things have, it's what they've turned multiple personality disorder into. They've changed the acronym because there was a lot of negative stigma.
Yeah, and it's not like, isn't it like it's not wholly accurate to the disorder? Yes. It's not quite right. So they're like, okay, we kind of can't really call it this anymore.
Right. There was very much like a way of, they were looking at it and they were like, that's not entirely accurate. Plus, when we diagnose it, they get all the fucking flack for it, you know.
Yeah.
Like doctors will see it like on a chart and be like, oh, I gotta treat you because you're fucking nuts or whatever.
Yeah.
Which like isn't accurate or nice or correct or anything.
It's not conducive to like creating a positive environment for this person to like not heal, because I don't see it as being sick, but maybe understand themselves better would be more accurate.
Learn to cope.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, in like popular media, totally fucks it all the time. It's always somebody who is, you know, they sit down and they're one person, and they blink and it's another person, and then they blink again.
Split.
Yeah.
You have issues with that movie, I take it, and I don't blame you.
Okay. what I will say is just getting accounts from people who have DID is incredibly like helpful.
Yeah.
Because people will shift in and out of their alters or whatever they decide to call them. They just they'll shift out of this person slowly, or it'll be like they have narcolepsy and fall asleep, and then they wake up and they're like, "Whoa, what's happening?" kind of thing. So just get accounts like directly from people with it, because odds are that they've already done a fuck ton of therapy and are working on all this other stuff so that they can properly exist with it.
Yeah.
Something that, and it was shit, what's his name? Anthony Padilla it was the guy from Smosh. He runs a show kind of like this, where he sits down and talks to people and asks questions about like what's it like, and he goes all over for it. And it was actually really interesting because like he doesn't ask any sort of like judgmental questions. He's just asking, what's it like? How do you deal with it? What's it like when this happens? And it's very interesting because you're also hearing from people who have it and are talking about their experience with it, and that is going to give you the most accurate representation.
Yeah.
And also show that it's very different for everybody, because one person's like, yeah, I have only one other person,
Yeah.
I only have one other altar, and other people are like, yeah, I don't like have like altars that I switch into, but I hear
Or 6.
but I hear a million all the time, It's like that scene in Star Wars of the Galactic Senate, and there's a million people and they're all screaming, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it's like that's super interesting,
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend that video. Take it with a grain of salt, of course, because it is like cut, it's a cut video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there were things that got left out, or yeah. So definitely something to check out. Any other last kind of words of wisdom here? Kincade or Mortal Kombat?
God damn it.
No? Is that not right? Is that not what MK is for?
No.
Is it?
No, I've heard that one before.
Is it Mega Cat?
Yes. Because cat is spelled with a K.
How would you know?
That.
I thought you didn't read or write.
Oh, that's the only word I know how to spell. Cat, K-A-T.
Is it Brian Regan?
Right? Yes. That is. Okay. Ask anybody that knows me. I spell cat with a K.
K-A-T, I'm out of here.
K-A-T, I'm out of here. I know it's got 2 T's. But no, I spell cat with a K deliberately because of that joke. Because yep, Kit knows.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm not, I do it on purpose. Kind of like, I got flack for, in my stream saying Merlot. And they're like, it's Merlot, right? And I was like, I do. I think it's funnier to say Merlot.
It is funnier.
Yeah. Or Amro. I constantly pronounce words deliberately wrong just to flummox people. Yeah, Wilhelm. There's another streamer named Wilhelm Werewolf. And I do it more than I did previously because now I know it agitates him.
Of course.
Yes, and he's a big, huge sweetheart, so I love to get under his skin because he's very good-natured about it, even though he like acts like it just sets him off
right
so bad. But yeah, no, he's a sweetheart. He's awesome. But yeah, no, I guess as far as words of wisdom, I'd say be kind.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I think the last question that we had was from Volk about the foxes.
Yeah,
And I
saw that.
actually have I did look at that study when I was in my master's program.
Ooh.
Because I'm a child therapist, so I had to do a lot of studies on baby animals and things like that. I didn't do the studies, but I was, you read about them and you write about them, and then they're like, all right, I guess you're smart enough. Here's a master's degree.
Yeah.
And so I remember reading about that study. It was this scientist basically was like, I'm going, and this is obviously before you had a ton of rules around it, but he's like, I'm gonna treat one small group of foxes like absolute shit, and I'm gonna treat them like they are the best dogs and whatever in the world, right?
Nice.
And I don't know where the fuck he got all these foxes because they're hard to find, but
Yeah.
but it's very similar to Rat Park. The ones he treated poorly, killed each other and
Oh,
bit and
God.
fought and did all sorts of awful things. And the ones that he treated great, obviously very kind to each other, made more kits, like all that kind of stuff. And it was we're as humans, that's what we also do. That when we're treated well, we're going to do well.
Yeah.
Bullying is going to naturally happen in the world, unfortunately, but it doesn't mean that it has to go that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of really it. Like Kin just said, fucking be nice to each other.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself and to those around you. And that's the first part of that is sometimes the hardest.
Yeah.
I know that firsthand. I think I had someone tell me once that it's like, you are so cruel to yourself. It boggles my mind. And I was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, see, there, you're doing it. Stop. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's rough.
Yeah, it's super hard out there. And so don't make it harder than it has to be. And I'll say when Gunmouth called me out on it specifically, I was like, yeah, you're right. All right. All right, I'll get better. I have in some ways.
Yeah. We're all works in progress.
Forever.
Yep.
Like you're never done. If you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah, no. I've encountered a couple people that are like, "Oh no, I've done this or that," and they like it and said it in such a way that implied like, "Oh, well, I already know what I'm doing. I've done this, that, and the other thing, so I don't need to like work on it anymore," or something like that. And it's like, I don't think that's true, but clearly arguing with you isn't gonna accomplish much. So
no,
okay,
it is not. But yes, so it's not how that works. It's not how any of this works.
Yeah, no.
And yes, just to end and before we raid out to some lovely people.
Hell yeah.
I'll do my own self-promotion.
Fuck yeah.
Haha, it's my stream. All my stuff is right there. Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. And all these episodes of TravTalks, if you want to watch any of the others, they've all been really lovely guests and good talks. Are all going to be on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you feel like checking that out, please do. I would super appreciate it. I always post on the Twitter and the Instagram when I'm going live, as you can see from Kincade probably retweeting me.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I super appreciate this conversation today. I had a good time.
Yeah, no, this was amazing. Thank you for having me on this show. I fucking had a blast.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
And I totally admit that I learned a ton today.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about neat. I learned a lot about the furry community itself. Because full disclosure, like I don't know a ton about it. I didn't go down the route of like I saw the CSI episode, you know. No,
Oh yeah, no, I would never in a million years think anything like that of you, because I know like just profession wise, you have to have an open mind, and you just strike me in general as someone that's like, oh no, yeah, I'll check this out. That's neat. That's not for me, you know. Whatever. And yeah, and
bored of
if
apathy.
anything, if there's ever, yeah. We are children of apathy.
Children of divorce, baby.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same.
Raised by my mom all by herself. She's an amazing woman. I got pretty lucky.
Shout out to moms and those who want to be moms.
Hell yeah. Yes. The mutters. But no, I would encourage you, if there's ever like a furry con in your area, like go for a day and check it out. Mm-hmm. You never know what you might see or find, and just be like, oh, Kincade was right. This is a cool party. I'm down.
You should watch the fandom so you know about furry. Okay. I can look that up for sure. For sure.
Yeah, there was also there's a YouTube channel called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Okay.
And he did a because he does little mini documentaries. And he did one on the furry fandom and talks about its history and this, that, and the other thing. It was very interesting. And it was very professionally done, wherein it wasn't like the CSI episode or some of the other. MTV did a thing about furries once, and it was a dumpster fire.
Of course it was.
Yeah, because MTV.
I did like Room Raiders though. Anyway. I know it was just straight up, you know, planted bullshit, but it did make me giggle a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes that's okay. Like those restoration channels on YouTube where it's obviously fake rust. You just put something in the dirt for about a week, and then like, I found this ancient thingy, but it's like, it's fake, but it's still neat to see what you use to clean that up.
Right. It's just power washing shit in general.
Yeah. It's like there's some catharsis to that. It's like, ooh, the rust is gone now. I am fulfilled.
Yeah, I feel good about this.
Yeah, this is okay.
All right. Well, as we're rating out, do you have any raid suggestions?
Oh, let's see who might be on that I could recommend.
I've got plenty of people who I have live, but if you got somebody, I would say let's do it. Thank you for the follow, Eric. And everybody else as well. Ember and Kibby and Kit and Wolf and Sean and E-Chef and Jazel. I hope I'm saying that right. Lux, Milky, Jazel. Trissy, and I got a follow earlier from Your Delicious Diarrhea.
Oh, damn.
So...
there is someone that I'll raid every now and again, and hopefully he has his alerts on, because every time his raid alert goes off, it scares him. And his name is Valor the Enigma.
Valor the Enigma. Yeah, they're live.
Yeah, and he's like I say, he's a cool person. Yeah, he's playing Deathloop, so I don't think because he does role-playing streams. Like he'll play a role-playing game and get in character for it, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
And yeah, but he's playing Deathloop right now, so I don't think that would be one that he'd do the role-play stream to. So hopefully he'll have his alerts on and he'll freak out for a second and be like, "Oh, hi Raiders." he's a sweet guy. He's a sweet person.
Let's do it then.
Fuck yeah.
Valor the Enigma. There we go. Lovely. Who the fuck? We are going to raid out to Valor the Enigma at Kincade's request here. Be sure to show love. Feel free to use my raid emotes. Feel free to use your own raid emotes. I don't give a shit. Just let him know. Yeah. Just let him know that Trav is the one who sent you. So we're gonna raid out. Again, thank you, Kincade. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
You.
More Trav Talks coming. I promise.
Yeah.
But this is not all
See
I
you
do.
next time.
It's not all I do, but I do like doing them. I'm having a ton of fun.
Hell yeah.
Again, check out the socials. We got the jam. There it is. Check out Kincade as well if you haven't.
Hell yeah.
And do you have a sign off?
Oh, I always my little shtick is always take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. I'm gonna do I don't know. Next time on Game Grumps. Bye everybody.
We got him.
Life settings, yeah.